What is up, everybody? Holy smokes, it is happening. Oh, man, I am so excited about the Epic React V2 launch. I'm wearing my V1 shirt as a celebration of what we did 4 years ago when I launched Epic React V1, and now we're going to be launching Epic React V2. Let me just double check that. Yes, okay, you do hear my voice. The audio is working, so that is good. I am super excited. So let me give you an idea of what we're going to be doing. Right now, this is what you need to do. I want you to take the URL for this video or the share thing on your mobile device and send that to your communities and your internal Slack and all of that. I want as many people to see this as possible. I have a couple of fun and interesting things planned for this, and the launch page is super fun. We've got a lot of cursors on there. So thank you, PartyKit, for making that possible, and Joel for working on that, even though I assumed that you wouldn't do that. So thank you. This is going to be so sweet. So I'm going to, in just a minute here, I'm going to click the launch button. Let me get my screen shared so we all see this. I'm going to hit this launch button. We're going to launch Epic React, and then I'm going to answer a bunch of questions, and then I'll go into the deep dive on how the Epic React learning experience works, the Epic Workshop app. So yeah, some people are, you can move your own cursor and find yourself in the live stream if you want. I guess that's a good way to see whether this actually is live, is if you can see yourself. Thank you so much for coming to this. I think I want to give us like just 1 or 2 more minutes for more people to show up for the live stream and not miss this very exciting launch. I'm so excited about this. It's going to be great. So let's see. Also, like, throw your questions in the live stream. I'll be looking through those after we do the launch, so I can answer a couple of the common ones. I'm not going to be able to get to all of the questions that you're asking because that just isn't going to work very well. And so I will just do my best to answer most of them. And if you have any others, you can email team@epicreact.dev. And please be nice, because they're going to be receiving so many emails today with probably the same question over and over again. So as many smiley face emojis as you can supply is awesome. Okay, great. I think we're ready for this to happen. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Okay, here we go. We should do like a countdown. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch! What? Oh my goodness. Joel? No, actually, this is a Rickroll on Joel. I made it do that. Joel! Joel's probably freaking out like, what? The launch button didn't work. What just happened? Okay. I'm just waiting for the chat to catch up and see what I did. Oh my gosh, it was so... Here, I'll just show you really quick what I did. I literally just said document query selector button, prevent default, and go over to the Rickroll. I'm so happy. I'm still waiting for people to react in the chat. I think we're like 15 seconds behind, so no. Okay, we got an LOL from Will. Okay, sweet. We're gonna do the real launch now. Sorry, Joel. This was, my wife and I were talking about this last night, and that idea popped up. Like, oh my gosh, that'd be so great. Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah! Oh my gosh, it happened. Oh, this is so great. Man, this rocks, actually. Thanks, Voida and Joel, for building this. This is so sick. So yeah, epicreact.dev should be available now. So if we go to epicreact, here, I'll do in a new tab, epicreact.dev. And you scroll down here to the bottom and you'll get your pricing right here. So we're doing a 40% discount for the launch. And it's going to be sweet. So for the next over 2 weeks, you're going to get a 40% discount. Some of you will have a PPP or purchase power parity discount that you can opt into as well, which will be even better than this. So just choose the discount that you prefer. And yeah, it's huge. I recommend, if you're like on the fence, go ahead and give this landing page a read through. It was very intentional how it was written. We spent a lot of time putting it together. And so if you're like, I'm not sure, what is this thing even, like, go through this and even the tour video, and that will hopefully give you an idea of what this is all about. And what it all contains. I'm so stoked about this. I don't think that I'm going to spend time in our live stream doing the tour, because I literally did that. There's a video right here that you can watch that will give you the tour of what this is all about. Yeah, I did prepare something for you though, so don't leave just yet. I prepared something I want to show you. I can't believe that I did this. I spent hours working on this. So before I do the live stream, and actually hold on a second. Okay, good. I did post that. Yeah, before I go to the Q&A and stuff, I want to show you something. So let's start that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this. Let's start this. This isn't, don't take this too seriously. That's all I'm saying. Just, it's fine. Okay, here we go.
The time is now, we've waited so long. Epic React V2 is where we belong. We're geared up and ready, our journey begins. A world of React where we'll get the wins. We'll dive into hooks, transition so smooth. With patterns and composition, we'll find our groove. TypeScript in every file, precise and strong. Epic React will guide us all along. We're on the edge now, Epic React V2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. We'll ship it fast now, we'll ship it clean. Epic React's the tool for the dream team. Whoa, no bugs to fight. Whoa, we'll code it right. Playground's ready, code on the fly. Launch in your editor, reach for the sky. Learn to debug, find every clue. Optimize performance, we'll push it through. Embedded videos, everything in sync. No more context switching, just code, watch and think. Test tabs waiting, no need to guess. See what passes, fix all the rest. Diff tab shows what changed and why. Epic React will take us high. We're on the edge now, Epic React V2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. We'll ship it fast now, we'll ship it clean. Epic React's the tool for the dream team. Whoa, no bugs to fight. Whoa, we'll code it right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're set for blast off, the time has come. With hands on the keys, retention you'll find. Epic React V2, it's learning refined. Now, Epic React V2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. Hooks and patterns, we'll master them all. With TypeScript strength, we'll answer the call. Whoa, the countdown is done. Whoa, blast off, now we're on. We'll code it right.
Okay. I hope you liked that. I liked it. I thought it was pretty fun. Thank you so much for for watching and joining. And there are some of you who are already grabbing licenses, so thank you for that also. Okay, so for the rest of the workshop, I'm gonna close a couple distractions here, or not workshop. I guess this could be a workshop of how Kent launches workshop series. But let me come back here. I'm gonna close this. You can really quickly get, oh, that's an old code. That code's not gonna work. I mean, you can use it if it works, good for you. I don't think it'll work though. Somebody's already used that. But yeah, so you can go to the /buy screen, and this will take you right to the pricing if you want to skip past the scroll. And yeah, while y'all are buying and sending to your bosses, actually, if you go to Epic react.dev/boss, then this is a letter that you can copy and paste, send it to your boss, and tell them why you think that you and your team really need to have Epic React. Back on that song, I spent hours working on the lyrics for that. I used AI to help me with a lot of it, but yeah, I actually surprised myself how much time I spent on that. And then the song itself actually is Suno is a cool site that will create music, and you just say, here's the style I want, here are my lyrics, and boom, I have like 700 versions of that song on there. But I got one, and then I added I had to manually make the video for the lyrics and stuff that you watch, but I thought it was pretty sick. So anyway, oh man, here we are, epicreact.dev. I've been waiting forever for this, and I am so stoked about what we're doing here. So let me get to some questions, and then we're going to do the behind the scenes into the Epic Reactiverse. I want to show you the biggest and best app that I have ever built with React. Maybe not the biggest, because I worked on teams, and with those teams I've built very big apps, but the biggest one I've worked on by myself, and the one with the most users that I've worked on by myself. So yeah, that is awesome. And actually, now that I think about it, I want to just see really quick, if we go to the fundamentals, the deployed version of the fundamentals workshop, yeah, we've got 17 people on there right now. I want to have this open somewhere so I can reference it every now and then to see how many people are on one of the workshops. It'd be sweet if, like, buy the workshop and get started right now. That'd be awesome. Right now we have 5 people or 4 people on React Fundamentals, and 2 on Get Started with React, 1 on Server Components. So yeah, I want to see more people on there. Okay, let's get to the questions. I think I should have one of these chat things that shows up right here in this view, but I'm not. Somebody send a chat. I want to see if the chat pops up like it's supposed to, or if this thing doesn't work. Maybe I need to do some. Oh, no. No, I'm not seeing any chats coming through. Well, nobody's sending chats. I'll leave it open like this for just a second to see if we can get chats through. Otherwise, I'll just like bring over the YouTube live chat, and we'll do it that way. Yeah, okay, no chats are coming through on this view. So we're going to go to this. I'm going to turn this off, and we'll actually pop open the chat. There we go. Boom. Beautiful. Look at how much chat there is. So much chat. Okay, coming back. I think we're not seeing all the chat from, in the chat history. So I'm going to scroll back a little further and just see what I'm missing. And in fact, you know what? I think I can do this. We'll make this work. Don't worry. We'll scooch this over here. Oh, spoiler alert for some stuff. There we go. Okay. So, let me just see what other question, or what were some of the common questions that people asked. Does React Performance Workshop cover React Profiler in greater detail? And how does it compare with Performance Pain? So yes, there is a performance workshop. And let me just do, here's the deployed version, performance.epicreact.dev. We get a lot into the performance characteristics of React, starting with element optimization. This is an entire section that wasn't in V1. And this actually is just like, hey, guess what? React actually has some really nice built-in mechanisms for optimizing your performance. And it's just based on the way that you're structuring your components, you can actually optimize quite a few things. And maybe you don't even need to use some of those like other optimizations. And then we have some context optimizations. Here's concurrent rendering. Use deferred value wasn't a thing when Epic React V1 showed up. So this one's a new exercise, and it's sick. It's probably one of my favorite exercises of the whole series of workshops. And then, of course, code splitting. this is like got a special feature of React for code splitting, but not exactly like we're talking about web solutions to problems. Like here's like it's web code that we're doing. It's not necessarily just React stuff. Expensive calculations, also a lot of you're just learning web performance and stuff. So in this workshop, we actually spend a lot of time in the dev tools, like the regular performance pane, as well as the React performance pane. So this one's going to be sick. You're going to like it a lot. I should probably leave a tab open like that, but whatever. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Also, happy birthday. That's exciting. Let's see. That's okay. You can watch it, the replay. Let's see. Oh yeah. So here's somebody is asking about a project like in V1. So in V1, we had bookshelf.lol. So we build this bookshelf app, and it's pretty cool. Like there's you can add books and check them off and mark them as, stars, whatever. It's a pretty simple app. And so we do not have this in V2. And the reason we don't have this in V2 is because you get all of the fundamental important learnings out of the workshops that we have already. And the problem with the Bookshelf app was that it used like a whole bunch of different things that were not React, like different ecosystem tools, which is important for you to learn. But I don't think that I was able to touch on those things deep enough in a single workshop like this. And so instead what I did is I built Epic Web. epicweb.dev volume 1 full stack. Volume 1 is basically the Bookshelf app, except instead of a Bookshelf app, we build a much more thought out application, which is now the basis for the Epic Stack. And so this is a note-taking application. It's got users who actually take notes. Look, there's my notes, and that's a note, hooray. And it's got like image upload, like all sorts of things that we did not cover in the Bookshelf app. They're all covered in here. And so if you want to get basically what the Bookshelf app was, then you'd probably get it just by getting the full stack foundations stuff, maybe the web forms. But if you wanted, like, how do I build a full application with React that's a full stack thing, it covers the front end and back end, then all of these workshops are definitely what you want. And so that's why I didn't do a Bookshelf app or something like that in V2, because we have better solutions for that now. Okay, awesome. Some people, this is going to be a really common question, so I'll answer this now. A lot of people bought version 1 and are wondering if version 2 is a free upgrade. And so what I'm hoping to show you is that version 2 is actually pretty significant, a significant change in what version 1 was. And so it's not just like some sort of incremental upgrade. It's actually like a really significant improvement on top of V1. So no, it's not a free upgrade, but if you just bought it since like April, then you already have access to it. We gave anybody who bought V1 since April will have V2 already for free. And then anybody who bought it before then will have a special discount that is prorated to like how long you've owned it. So like some people will get it for a huge discount. Other people will get it for just a huge discount. And then the rest of you all get it for a really big discount. So that's the status there, because it's such a huge change in what it was originally. Okay, I think we're getting about to the point where, where we can start looking at these questions. Where did that go? Where did the questions go? Oh, that's weird. I thought that I had the pop-out thing. Oh, here it is. All right, let me just... How much new content is there from V1? So I would have to like dive in really deep to tell you like really specifics, but if I had to give you estimates, well, let me tell you in general, everything has been touched and changed in some way. Like everything's been upgraded to TypeScript. All of the instructions have been rewritten, the inline instructions as well. The format for the workshop is completely different. or at least the learning experience that was built from scratch. Lots of the format for the workshop in V1 was really good, of like problem and then solution. And so we do the same thing here, but also take all of the extra credits that you had in V1, and those actually become individual steps in the exercise with a problem and solution as well. So it's a lot more guided in that way, and with completion videos and everything there too. So yeah, there's all of the content is new. How much has changed aside from like the TypeScript and stuff? I would say like 70% of the examples are different from the original in some way. So yeah, it's a lot. It's very significant. Yeah, so if PPP doesn't appear for you, it's I'm not sure how that magic works. If it doesn't appear for you, probably it is not supported in your country where you are. If you feel like that's wrong, or you've got a buddy down the street who also who did get PPP, then you should probably also get it, unless they were on a VPN or something. And so make sure you don't have any VPNs turned on, and if it's not working for you, then reach out to support, I suppose. They'll probably just say what I said though. Hey, I'm glad to hear you're satisfied with the price. That's awesome. Thanks, Will. It's seriously funny. Yes. Actual banger. Yes, I love it. It's so great. I have so many versions of this. I did, a lot of them was like a version that was inspired by the Final Countdown, like 80s anthem rock sort of music. Yeah. So there are a lot of really awesome versions that didn't make the cut. Okay. The format of the learning and workshops really impressed me, assuming they're going to be a lot similar. Yeah. Yes. Thanks, Jonathan. I'm not sure who you were responding to, but yes, it is fabulous. It is very, very good. No, it didn't hire Fall Out Boys. That's AI helping, but I did a lot of work, just not as much as would have been required if I'd actually made that song myself, but I did still do a lot. Yeah. Who is that singing? Yeah, AI generated. Oh, that's so good. V2, proper upgrade experience on every front. Yes, it is. Everything is better. Okay. This better be on karaoke list. Oh my gosh, I totally should. It's really tricky though, because with music, AI generated music, you can't say like, okay, now generate this song without the singers or whatever, so you can get a karaoke version. Can't do that. Like, it's just like, nope. But I mean, it would be a sweet thing. Maybe I'll play it in the background at the conference. That's so sick. Is it available on Spotify? It should be. I should put it on Spotify. Okay. Let me. Yes, Ken will be the only speaker with his own walk-in music. I think Ken Wheeler could do that, but 10-hour version when? Oh my gosh. Artem, I might. I don't know. That's hilarious. Thank you. Awesome. Hey, thank you for being a V1 student. So awesome. Yes, this was Suno. Thanks, Shah. Lifetime of updates was included. So yeah, this is another relatively common misunderstanding. That was actually pretty clear that it wasn't included. So if you looked at the pricing page, it showed what you got. There was nothing in there that said you get lifetime updates. And then if you were curious, you could check the FAQ, and it asked about lifetime updates, and it said no. And so, yeah, I still have a family that I need to support going forward. And so with my time, I have to decide, okay, what am I going to do that's going to continue to make me money? And I have to, if I couldn't charge for V2, then I would have worked on something else. And so, like, something completely different, because I still have to continue to make money on what I do. So that's why lifetime updates. I don't actually, for me, I really don't want to do lifetime. Well, sorry, let me take that back. I do lifetime for V1. You will always have access to V1. But I don't do lifetime updates because I want our transaction to be done at the time we transact. So you're not expecting anything from me. I'm not expecting any more payment from you. This is why I don't do subscriptions as well. And our transaction is finished. You get what you paid for, and that's it. That way, if I get into a car accident and die, you're not like, well, I paid you a bunch of money and now you died on me. Like, I don't want to have any weirdness around my funeral, I guess. I don't know. So that's kind of my thought process there. So yeah, thank you, Artem. I did write, I didn't write all of the lyrics myself. Here's what I did. I said, hey, ChatGPT, I'm going to be launching Epic React V2. Go learn about what epicreact.dev is. Now, please write me a song for the launch. And it wrote me a bunch of lyrics, and then I iterated with it like 300 times to make it what I wanted it to be. So that's how that happened. Buyers from V1 will get your discount code right now. If you're logged in to epicreact.dev, so when you're logged in, you will see your special discount code. Yes, so without the videos, without the test tab, here, actually, let me show you what the experience is like. Well, yeah, the local experience is better. I'll show you what the experience is like when you're not logged in a little bit later. But yeah, you can go through everything on GitHub. You can download it. You can start the app and work through, read the instructions, everything. You won't see the videos. You won't get the test tab, and you won't get the diff tab. Those are paid upgrades. Yes, there is a discount, as Joel mentioned here. Whoa, it scrolled me to the bottom all of a sudden. Where did I get lost? Here we go. I'm going to start scrolling through a little quicker. Some of the workshops for V1, the testing and the bookshelf are not in V2. Yes, Francisco, that is exactly right. And it's because they have a standalone in Epic Web Dev. Epic Web Dev has a testing workshop, and so you can use that one. It is possible that I will do something in the future for V2. Before I say that, rewind. Do not buy Epic React V2 if you want to have a testing workshop. I'm not promising you should, just like MKBHD says, don't buy something for a promise. So I'm not promising that Epic React V2 is going to have a testing workshop. And even if it does in the future, I'm not promising that that will be a free upgrade. I don't like making those sorts of promises. You buy what's on the page. But I have thought about doing a testing workshop specifically for Epic React. But if you really do want to learn testing, then you can go to Epic Web and you could buy the full stack testing workshop. And Artem has been working on testing workshops. He's got the testing fundamentals. He also has, very soon in the next couple weeks, we're going to have a mocking workshop here as well. And so you can buy these a la carte. And so that should satisfy your testing needs there. Okay, can you tell me why we should upgrade from Epic React V1? So I can give you a couple of things for this. This is another really common question, so I'm glad you asked. So V1 was released in 2020, so that's 4 years ago now. Almost exactly 4 years. I think we launched the first week of October, so it's almost been exactly 4 years since V1. Suspense was still an experimental feature, and so I had the suspense workshop that had all the experimental stuff on it. Now it's a very important aspect of the framework, and things changed since that workshop. So the updated version is the stable everything. I should mention also everything is React 19 as well. So we're doing form actions, which didn't exist 4 years ago. We're doing React server components. We built an RSC framework from scratch, which is pretty epic. And that also supports server actions. And we don't use any tools. It's all just Node, browser, and React packages. That's it. And so that one actually is super cool. I'm probably, of all the workshops, I think that one's the coolest. Probably. There are some pretty cool things. That performance workshop is pretty sweet. But then finally, the learning environment is much improved, like hugely improved. And that's what I'm going to get into after this Q&A. So you can feel free to hang around and we'll talk about how the learning environment is so much improved. Oh, yeah, just delayed from Chile. What's up? Yeah, difference between V1 and V2, just answered that. And I should also mention it's all TypeScript and modern tools and everything too. V1, especially the Bookshelf app, lots of the dependencies and things have changed quite significantly in the last 4 years. Yeah, thanks, Sumant. Can we download the videos to learn offline? Okay, Oscar, this is a great question. I really wish I could say yes. I've been talking with Mux, they're our provider for video, and they said it is technically possible on their platform, but would require a lot of custom software development on my end. So eventually, maybe I will make that work where like the video will have a little download button. You say download for offline. I would really like to be able to do that in the future. The other challenge there is that it adds a lot to cost as well, because like people will say, oh yeah, sweet, I'll just download all the videos, and then they never watch them. And so we have to consider that too. But yes, I do think having a download button on the video player would be really cool. It just is a non-trivial amount of work that I haven't done yet, and it's possible we will never support that. But I would like to say yes to that. What was the most challenging part of the workshop to do? Oh man, you know what? The React Server Components workshop was probably it. The other workshops, I've been using React for a very long time. Let's see, I started at the end of 2015, so it's been almost 9 years. And that was since I was doing it professionally. It's probably been 10 years since I started playing with it. And so like most of the concepts like JSX and different things, like those are pretty straightforward for me. But React Server Components, I don't use Next.js. And so I have not used Server Components in any production capacity. And then on top of that, and so for that reason, I'm not going to teach you how to use RSCs with Next.js because I don't know how to do that. And I'm not really all that interested either. But what made it so challenging is that I was building a framework for RSCs and teaching you how to do that. And that is like non-trivial stuff, man. So, and also it's not documented at all because there are like 7 people in the world who are doing that. And now there are many more because you all are going to be doing that. So that's exciting as part of the workshop. So that was probably the most challenging. Unless you also count the development of the workshop app, because that was, hugely challenging. Lots and lots of stuff going into the development of the workshop app, but I kind of had that from Epic Web, so kind of cheating. Okay, hopefully, Diego, you got this question answered in what I've said before. Does React Server Components section include stuff from Remix? No, actually. In fact, there's nothing from Remix or React Router in the entire workshop series, or Next, or anything. If you want to do full stack stuff, then that's what Epic Web is for. This is so that you can get freaking good at React. And so we're free of all the different abstractions. There are a couple of times where we bring in things like Tanstack virtualized, or whatever his virtualized list thing in the performance workshop. And I feel like there may be like a React error boundary is another one, but that's kind of a staple of the community. But other than that, this is all just, and then also vanilla tilt as one to like, here's how you integrate with a third-party library that's not a React library. So stuff like that. And I think we've got one with D3 too for the globe, the performance globe. Now I'm just like thinking through all the examples, but for the most part, these are like, we're hyper focused on React. If you want to go to like, okay, now let's take this React knowledge and apply it to a full application. That's what full Epic Web is all about. Hey, thank you, Joel, who just bought the course. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Is the track I made downloadable? Oh my goodness. I honestly, where could I put it really fast? You know what? I could put it on X, but I wanted this to be kind of like a special thing just for us. But if enough people ask me to post it on X, I'll post it on X and maybe in the Discord. I'll stick it in the Discord first. I'll put it in the general channel and I'll pin it. Let me find it. Where did I put it? I have a special folder for my streaming stuff. And I'll post the video as well as the MP3. Where is this? Yeah, here it is. Okay. So let me grab both of those, stick those in general. Are those dragging? Come on, drag over to general. For actually, you know what? I've got a channel in the live stream for this, the live stream chat. And I will, oh no, I don't. Huh, that's weird. Oh, here it is. Okay, boom, gonna put it right here. And I'll put a link in the chat, so you can go over my Discord and you can download those tracks. Here are the MP3 and MP4 files for the music track. All right, sweet. And let me grab a link to this, copy message link. You'll have to join the Discord first, but once you've joined, then you can go to that link to get it. So, okay, sweet. Thanks, Kurt. That makes me feel good that you actually are interested enough in watching or listening to it again. Okay. If we buy this Epic React, does it cover future updates? No, you should. Joel answered correctly. We don't make promises on future stuff. I don't want you to feel like I cheated you if I disappear off the face of the earth. So yeah, is everything oriented to SSR or also SPA? The vast majority of what we're doing works in both, but yeah, what we're actually running is going to be running in a single page app, or it actually isn't a single page app because we don't have routing or anything. It's I suppose it's single page as in no routing, because we're just doing React stuff. And so we do have one example, the use sync external store exercise. There's a special API in that hook for hydration and SSR. And so we simulate SSR in the browser, which is actually kind of cool. But yes, everything's running in the browser, but all of the things that you learn are applicable to an SSR scenario as well. And then the exception being React server components that of course needs a server. But the way that we do it is with a SPA. So we have a RSC endpoint, just like an API endpoint, and then we have our SPA front end that talks to that endpoint. It's actually very cool. You should definitely give it a look. Okay, how does the open files button work? That is a great question, Christopher. We'll get into that when I go through the demo. It's going to be, not the demo, but the walkthrough of the code. It's going to be pretty cool. Good question. Okay, what will we learn from this project today? Tons of things. I'm going to show you so much stuff. This is the biggest workshop or biggest application that I have personally written with the most number of users. And it's so cool and it's so unique too. It's a very interesting app. Okay, let's see. There's like some support questions in here. I'm going to skip over. Joel is in here answering your questions and also the support team. So thank you, Joel, for jumping in. Okay. Can we still access V1? And is there any value to continue it alongside V2? Good question. So for V1, you can, absolutely. You bought that, it's yours forever. As long as servers are still running, which should be forever, hopefully. Yeah, is there value in continuing? I suppose if you are still working on an older app that is not able to use some of the more recent features of React, it could be really useful for that sort of scenario. So don't throw it away. Don't throw away your email or credentials or whatever. But yeah, if you're like unsure whether you need it or not, just jump into V2. Okay. Yeah, so Joel told the actual cutoff date. I say April, just so people, if I said March, people are like, I'm on the 22nd. But yeah, we did go back a little bit further before April. Let's see. We're getting, let's see. I'm excited too, Josh. Thank you. I'm super happy V1 was valuable. I think you're going to absolutely love V2. It's so good. When will emails be out for enrollment? Right now. Like, go get it. Go grab it now. Okay, I think we're getting... Katie, what's up? Final countdown. Yes. Okay. Is testing... Yeah, we covered that. You can always scrub back, Eka. Okay, I think, yeah, we're just getting some more course on AI music. Maybe I should have live streamed my weekend. Okay, I think most of these are support related questions. Why do I prefer Remix instead of Next? I actually do have a blog post about this. It's on Epic Web, But if you go to the articles page, you won't find it because I delisted it from the articles page because it was a little too spicy. I think some people didn't like it very much, and that's fine. But it's why I don't use Next.js. Shoot, now I can't remember. Epic Web, why I don't use Next. I'm just doing a quick search on the internet. Yeah, why I won't use Next.js. So I'll stick that here. How do I reply to this? Can I reply? Okay, I think wait, is there a mention user? No, okay. So we're just at exploding, there it is. That is your answer. I'm not gonna go into that much further than that. Okay. What are some core foundational things I should learn before diving into this course? Great question. So there is a FAQ at the bottom of the page. If you go to epicreact.dev, let me just make sure there should be, I'm not seeing it, so I will fix that and link it to you. Yeah, it should be prerequisites. We need to add a prerequisites to the frequently asked questions. But let me get you, Epic Web Dev actually has this in the FAQ because it's kind of the same thing. Are there any prerequisites? Yes, here it is. I will just scooch this over here. So this same FAQ should be on Epic React. The workshop repos list prerequisites, so each one will have some, like, go watch this video or have some understanding in this. But in general, you should have basic understanding of JavaScript, TypeScript, React, and Node.js, and Git. Of course, for us, we don't need basic understanding in React because I'm going to give that to you. Yeah, some basic understanding with Node.js and a little bit of Git, at least being able to do a Git pull and stuff like that, or a Git clone should be enough. And just a little bit of Node.js, being able to run npm run stuff. TypeScript, everything in Epic React v2 is TypeScript, so a couple of these free TypeScript tutorials, probably beginner TypeScript and React with TypeScript, those two would be enough for you to get to know. And then JavaScript to know for React also would be good for you to know. Here, let me stick those in the chat. Here, where do we go? I lost it. Here it is. So that, and this, and some of these, and this. Oh my gosh, what just happened? Why can't I scroll? There we go. Pop out chat again. Whoa. Okay. There we go. Hopefully that answered that question. And I think I missed a bunch, but I'm not going to go back and figure out what happened to that. What the heck is going on? Here we go. Okay, good. Yeah. And we're going to close that. Okay, is V2 coming out soon? Yeah, it's out right now. Hey, thanks, Zach. So Zach has actually been going through doing quality testing for everything, and yeah, I'm glad to hear about that. Thank you, Zach. Is it for experienced devs? Yes. Like, not necessarily, you don't need to be experienced in React, because that's what I'm literally going to be doing, is giving you that experience. Or giving you that opportunity to develop that experience. But it is for developers who know how to code. I'm not going to, I do have those prerequisites as I described. The RSC project, really good. Cree has also seen it, and yeah, I'm glad. Thank you, Cree. And actually, you know what? I'm going to make the two of you mods too, just to make it clear that you all are associated in a wonderful and awesome way. Thank you for being awesome. And Jacob is a mod because he is also awesome. And I haven't announced it yet, but Jacob is actually an Epic Web instructor as well. He's got a video up on Epic Web we'll talk about later on. Okay, let me see. Kind of talked about some of that stuff. Yeah, is RC Workshop using Next.js or Remix? It's not only a custom implementation, we actually build the custom implementation. So we're building this this app, but that's not the actual thing you're learning. You spend more of your time building the framework to support the app use cases. And so yeah, it's not Next or Remix, it's custom. Yeah, just vanilla React, like Zach said. It's very low level. It's very cool. You're gonna love it. Maybe it's another benefit of the early subscribers or people who attend the next event. I'm not sure. I think I missed something. Yeah, let's see. Other questions. Difference between V1 and V2. If you scrub back a little bit, I answered a question about that. How are the job perspectives? Yeah, so this is one of the reasons that React just keeps winning is because it is the like where you're going to get the jobs. So yeah, if you want to get a job doing web development, your best bet is to learn React and get really good at it because there are just so many more React jobs than any other similar framework. So yeah, learn React. And yes, you can start learning from just V2. You don't need to go through V1 at all. So payment plan is tricky. In some cases, Stripe will actually give you a little payment plan option to choose, but we don't get to control that actually. So that's on Stripe's end. If you don't see that option, then I'm sorry, there's not. It's just too big of a problem for us to tackle. V2 does not also have access to V1. We are no longer selling access to V1. Epic Web also updated in the near future. So Epic Web, I do eventually plan on updating that. The Remix team is actively working on an updated version of Remix, and so I plan on updating Epic Web when that new version of Remix is released. I don't know when that will be. So I'm gonna guess that next year I'll have an updated Epic Web V2 or something. We'll see. Does this work with Astro? Yes, everything that you learn in Epic React will be applicable if you're using React with Astro or Next or Redwood or Remix or any other thing that uses React. Everything is framework agnostic. What are you supposed to focus on as a React developer? I don't know. It kind of depends on the work that you do and the work you're interested in doing. I would recommend looking at if you're happy with your current job, look around at the tasks that are being assigned to people and see like which tasks you're personally interested in exploring. And yeah, go learn the things you need to learn for those. If you're not happy with your current job, then look at the job opportunities of companies that you're interested in working at and see what they are listing as things that they expect their candidates to know and go learn those things. So just career-driven learning. If you're happy with your job and whatever, then just learn what is interesting to you. So is Epic Web waiting for Remix 3? Yes, that is it. Lydia, it's so good to see you again. If I'm planning on getting Epic Web also, do you think V2 should be done first? Great question. Yes, I do think V2 should be done first because Epic Web assumes some experience with React. You don't have to finish all of V2, but yeah, lots of it. Why is that thing coming up? There we go. Yeah, getting at least like the first 4 workshops done would be very helpful. Even I'm trying to decide if the suspense workshop would be super critical. I wouldn't say it's super critical, but probably useful. Any planned future discounts coming up on Epic Web? We don't have anything like on the schedule, but I can tell you that Black Friday has typically been a time where we do discounts, and I expect we'd probably do that. Yeah. If you haven't done V1, you can't get both, so yeah, you're fine. Course of React Aria. No, I don't have anything on React Aria. However, one of the patterns that we learn in the React Patterns workshop is the slot pattern that React Aria has created. So if you're familiar with React Aria, then we're going to show you how to implement slots, which is kind of cool. Last time Epic Web launched, Epic React was offered during, yeah, we don't have anything for that right now. We're just launching Epic React by itself right now. Yep, we talked about this. Hopefully we got an answer for that. Prime reacted to this article. It was epic. Which article? Oh, yeah, why I won't use Next. Yes, he did, I think. I don't remember seeing his, actually. I saw one by Dax and Adam, but I don't think I saw Prime's. Does this cover the new React compiler for performance? It does not. I expect eventually I will add some sort of content. And again, like, you're not buying my future promises or anything. I'm not making any promises about whether that will be included for free or a paid upgrade or something if I end up doing a workshop about the compiler. I'm getting the impression that the compiler is actually pretty far off still, even though they kind of made it seem like it was pretty close. So we're probably like a year away from the compiler anyway. But the performance workshop shows you enough stuff that for most of you probably wouldn't need the compiler anyway. So yeah, hopefully that is helpful. Compiler is exciting. Don't get me wrong, for sure. And actually, we do talk about the compiler. That's why it's on the homepage, actually. We talk about it in the expert interviews. I should show you that. epicreact.dev. And if I go to the workshops here, we've got these interviews with experts. And with some of these people, compile. I can't remember which one. A couple of these we talked about the React compiler and what's coming up. So it's sort of covered, but like, yeah, it's not like a workshop or anything. Oh, thank you, Eduardo. Okay, let's see. Ooh, you work at Shopify. Do you do much with Shopify and Hydrogen? I don't personally, but I use Remix, and it's like pretty similar. So good for you, Kobe. I think that you'll love working there. I have friends who work there, and they love it. Yeah, so it is all React. Definitely will apply to Hydrogen. Epic Web or Epic Stack V2 with Epic React. So yeah, there is no V2 of the Epic Stack or Epic Web happening right now. Eventually, when Remix next version shows up, then I'll update the Epic Stack to that version of Remix, and then that will turn into an updated version of Epic Web. But yeah, right now we're just talking about Epic React V2. And doing mostly connected. Oh, Theo, what's up, Theo? Good to see you. So the course is very focused on the web. Look at all these hearts. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. Yeah, so Epic React is focused on the web, and most of the exercises are web focused. But there are a lot of fundamental parts of React that apply whether you're in a native environment or on the web. And so I'm not going to tell you whether or not this is going to be a for sure buy if you do 100% native, but I think it is. I'm pretty sure that you would be happy with it as a native developer. Actually, you know what I should say is other people who do React Native primarily say they took Epic React version 1 and found it to be extremely valuable. So take that for what that's worth. Okay, we are getting close to the bottom. Here we go. The RC module alone, yeah, is super valuable. That's true. Honestly, that's a very good point. Okay, let me see. Some of these are also answered before. I just want to skip over those. Will we see a Next or Remix course? You'll never see a Next.js course from me unless like things change big time, because I'm a Remix user. I love Remix, and for me, it wouldn't make sense to teach you two ways to do the same thing. So like if you want to learn the way Kent does things, this is the way Kent does things. I'm not going to teach you, this is the way other people do things. Like that doesn't make sense to me. So epicweb.dev does have highlights Remix in a big way. And so if that's what you want, epicweb.dev is what you want. Okay, good. Vue is nicer to use. I'm so glad that you found a framework that you're happy with, Kobe. I think that if you're working at Shopify, you're probably using React. And so Epic React will be really valuable to you, but I'm glad that you like Vue too. Let's see. If I have a good understanding of React didn't take V1, yes, you can go straight to V2. let's see. How much do I need to complete the course in full? This is a good question. Pretty common one too. Yeah, so this is going to depend on a lot on like how much time you spend doing it, how much experience you have coming into it, not just with React, but like general programming and things. So I can't give you a very definitive answer to this, but I can tell you that like on the order of magnitude, you should probably spend around 4 hours a week, maybe 8, and it would take you like 3 months, 3 or 4 months, maybe more. Yeah, at that pace. And that's a pretty aggressive pace as well, because you do need, your brain needs time to like let things settle as you go through it. So I have had people who speed ran it and they got it done in 2 weeks for V1. And they got to the end and they got a lot of value out of it, but they had to go back and review, which is totally fine too. I have no problem with people needing to go back and review. That's not a problem. But yeah, it is if you want to really have it sink in, then you need to give your brain some time, 5 months, at like a weekly 4 to 8 hour a week. I do use VS Code shortcuts. I don't know. I've been doing this a long time, I guess. Yeah, 10 to 14 weeks is realistic if you aren't going full time with it. Yeah. And if you do go full time with it, just like make sure you take lots of breaks and drink lots of water. All right, sweet. Thanks, Siobhan. Hopefully your employer reimburses you. Oh yeah, I'm so excited, Artem. I look forward to your feedback on that. Epic Web Dev update. Yeah, nothing currently scheduled. Yeah, Epic React. Front-end Masters is awesome. Huge fan of Mark. I don't think that Front-end Masters has what Epic React offers as far as React is concerned. They offer lots of other things, which is awesome, but Epic React is honestly, I don't think that there's anywhere on the internet that you can get the learning experience and there's a helicopter. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't think there's anywhere on the internet that you can get the learning experience and the depth of understanding of React quite like Epic React gives you. Okay, inspired a bunch of my teammates by, oh, sweet. Thank you. I hope that they loved it. Well, I guess they did. And I hope you all love V2 as well. Thanks, Sunny. Answer to that probably require another spicy take. Oh, answer to which I missed. Oh, is there something missing from Vue, Solid, or Angular? I think I'm missing a little context, and we're going to avoid spicy takes. So I'm not going to dig into that one too much. React made it really easy to implement no-code and AI front-end tools. Sometimes it's terrifying. You know, I'm actually pretty sure that like AI assistants are not going to turn into like AI full-time coders for any serious projects for quite a while. So I think it's still worth like continuing in the industry. Like you can still make it. It's okay. Interview with DHH. I'd chat with him. We have never met in person, I don't think. Yeah, I've never met him. We have been on the same call before. We were both on like a podcast about testing a while ago. I think we were both on a call like that. Anyway, that would be cool to chat with DHH. He and I have a lot of different opinions about some things and a lot of same opinions about other things. It's kind of interesting. How are you doing? Oh man, talking about the accident now. So yeah, that was 2.5 years ago and I'm doing fine. I am as recovered as I will be. I still feel this, like these nerves were severed right here for the surgery for my collarbone. And that feeling has never come back quite right. The only feeling that I get is pain whenever I rub it like this. This hurts. So like my kids can't jump on my back, and that stinks a lot. I hate that. It's hard to do that. Sometimes I let them do it anyway and it just hurts. But yeah, other than that, like I'm doing fine. Tyler, what is up? I'm so happy to see you. Thank you so much for coming. If you didn't see the beginning, you want to scrub back to the beginning. Watch the first like 10 minutes or so. It was a pretty fun party. Okay, we talked about this earlier, so you won't. V1 is no longer accessible to anybody other than those who got it already. Yeah, let's see, can't access my view. Yeah, we'll talk about that. You want VTest. Artem jumped in. Thank you, Artem. Okay, congrats. Thank you, React India. Oh, it's React India. I love you. See you in I think we're like 20 something days away, like 23 days, something like that. So excited to come. I'll be there on my birthday. So thank you. That was very nice to jump in. We are so close to the bottom of the list, and then we can get into, let me show you the app. Okay, let me just get through some more things. Why Prisma instead of Drizzle? Yeah, so I'm gonna skip that question right now because I want to focus on Epic React right now. Yeah, sweet, that's good. Yeah, we talked about this. See you later, Francisco. Where'd you get those neon signs? These actually I got for Epic WebConf and RemixConf that I ran. So we had them as displays. They're pretty sweet. Custom LED signs is the search, yeah. Can't your audio keep going away in between? Uh-oh, in between what? Anybody else having audio problems? Let me know. Oh yeah, sorry, can I watch V2 selectively or do I have to follow it in order? You don't have to watch it in order, but it is like pretty linear from beginning to end. I recommend that you go through the exercises and stuff. Yeah, it's not a video course. You are going through exercises. I mean, there are videos, but they are to facilitate your hands on the keyboards. That song is super dope. I'm so glad. Man, I mean, I didn't do much. It's just AI learning from awesome people like you who actually do know what you're doing. So thank you for what you do to train the AI to make that song sound awesome. I did have like hundreds of iterations of it though. Okay, we are so close to the bottom that it's forcing me to the bottom. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. You can scooch back. Epic React V1 won't be updated, and from now on, it will not be updated at all. And you can go check out. Yeah, there we go. I have enrolled in Epic React Josh's course. Oh, that's nice. And trust me, there's always so much to learn. Help me secure your spot in promotions too. Thank you. That is, yes, that's great. Thank you for that. Good vibes right there. Love that. Yeah, so I think, yeah, support is going to talk about this. Audio has been fixed since then. Oh, good. Okay. What is the difference in content? Talked about that earlier. You'll have to scrub back, Ahmed. Kent, will this knowledge also be helpful when working with Next? Absolutely, it will. Okay, I think we're starting to get repeat questions from people who are just joining. So if you're just joining, you're going to have to scrub back to get some of these questions answered like this. We are now going to go to the next part of this video where I want to tell you about how I built the Epic React workshop app. Before I do that though, I am actually going to take a quick break for myself because this is a lot. So I'm to take the break though, I think y'all wouldn't probably be too disappointed if here, I'm just gonna do that. You wouldn't be too disappointed if I play that song again. That would be a good thing for the break. So let me just throw that up there and we'll see you in just a couple minutes.
The time is now, we've waited so long. Epic React V2 is where we belong. We'll get up and ready, our journey begins. A world of React where we'll get the wins. We'll dive into hooks, transition so smooth. With patterns and composition, we'll find our groove. TypeScript in every file, precise and strong. Epic React will guide us all along. We're on the edge now, Epic React V2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. We'll ship it fast now, we'll ship it clean. Epic React's the tool for the dream team. Whoa, no bugs to fight. Whoa, we'll code it right. in your editor. Reach for the sky, learn to debug, find every clue. Optimize performance, we'll push it through. Embedded videos, everything in sync. No more context switching, just code, watch and think. Test tabs waiting, no need to guess. See what passes, fix all the rest. Diff tab shows what changed and why. Epic React. No bugs to fight. Whoa, we'll code it right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're set for blast off. The time has come. With hands on the keys, retention you'll find. Epic React v2. It's learning refined. Whoa. We're on the edge now. Epic React v2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. Hooks and patterns, we'll master them all. With TypeScript strength, we'll answer the call. Whoa, the countdown is done. Whoa, blast off, now we're on. We'll code it right.
Okay, whew. I think we got to the end of the song. Sorry, I can't like hear it when it's playing. I can see what you see, but what you see is like 15 seconds delayed. So now we're going to get into how I built the workshop app. And this is going to be really interesting for a lot of you folks because this is a like really real example of a real world application. So let me just make sure I've got everything up. By the way, also there are 40 people using the Epic Workshop app right now. Most of them are either in the Performance Workshop or the Fundamentals Workshop, which is kind of fun. That's cool. Okay, let me share my screen. I'm gonna sit for this too. And let me, yeah, here we go. So let's go back in history a little bit. Whoa, look at that. That's exciting. Feel free to keep sending questions in here and stuff. I think Joel will probably hang out a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. Eventually Joel will sign off and then you'll want to, if you have like technical questions or whatever, you can send those to support@epicreact.dev. And yeah, they're going to be very busy today. So again, be very nice. Going back in history a little bit, I first started teaching React with my friend Matt Zabriskie. You might be familiar with him because at the same time that we delivered this workshop, actually maybe it was the year before, I think it was the year before. So the year before we delivered this workshop, we were at a conference, Midwest JS, and he created Axios. So most of you are probably familiar with Axios. So the next year, he and I co-delivered a React workshop. And so, yeah, I forked this eventually to turn it into a separate workshop here. But yeah, it was just like a pretty simple thing. We had exercises, index HTML with an index.js, and we just had like the instructions in here. And as we continued through, yeah, we just had like pretty much, it was pretty simple. It was a pretty simple workshop experience. Then I took that, enhanced it a lot, and added some emoji and stuff. If we go into here, oh, actually, this was even before the emoji. I just had comments that said what to do and things. And this actually did render. Like it opened up into this app where you could see, here's your implementation, here's the final version. So make your final version, do what the example final implementation is doing. And so yeah, that's how I got my start on this. And it worked out pretty well, but there were a number of challenges with it. If you got lost or left behind or something, it became challenging for people to keep up. It was also just didn't have a ton of content on it. We had higher order components and render props, which was kind of cool, but yeah, there just wasn't a whole lot to it. So eventually I decided, as well as tests and things, and so that's where the workshop app originally came from, the Epic React Workshop app. And so what it actually was just a collection of scripts until I finally figured out like how I wanted to do this. And so then I made the Kent C. Dodds React Workshop app. And what that does is it uses CodeGen macro. So if you've ever used one of my macro packages, it's Babel plugin macros that was built in to create React app as a supported feature. And then I can use this CodeGen thing, and this generates our entry module that will dynamically determine the exercises and the final. And then that creates this workshop experience. And it was pretty cool. So we've got our background information in here. We've got our exercise. We have our final. And it's all dynamic based off of what's in the source directory, which is pretty neat. There were a couple of challenges with performance and whatnot, but like it worked, and it worked great for the last 4 years. And those of you who have experienced V1, you're familiar with this already. By the way, if you have a question for me specifically about what I'm talking about, I do want to like keep this be as an interactive thing. So feel free to here, let me see the easiest way for me to notice when you have something to ask me. Yeah, so right here, I'm gonna just keep this open over here on the right or on the left, and just mention me if you have a question specifically for me that's about what we're talking about. I want to focus on one thing at a time here. Okay, so yeah, this was actually pretty cool how this worked. But there are a couple of problems with this. For one, we have the extra credits right here, where here's the background. This is information you need to know. Go read these blog posts and everything. I've got a little kid who my wife is taking care of, and he's like, what is behind this door? I might have to go say hi. He's my my nephew's son. I am a great uncle. But twice, actually. He also has a daughter. And I have other nieces and nephews who have children too. The stuff you should read. And now here, and then here we have extra credit that's just like, well, actually you would stop here and then you'd go through the exercise. So here you're going to have to find, well, actually, let's go back to the site and we're going to watch this video.
This first lesson here,
and what we're doing for this first exercise. And then we'll say, okay, here's the, go back, explainer. Nope, whoops, got to fix that.
All right, let's go to this first lesson here, and this is the basic JavaScript rendered hello world. So we're getting started with React without. All right, let's go ahead and read the world. So I'm going to start out with a body.
So you watch that first video, then you find in here, okay, here's the exercise. I'm on exercise 1, right? So we look at here, make sure we're on exercise 1. Yep, there it is. Oh, actually level 2 or something. I don't know. Here we are. Basic React rendered hello world. There it is. Okay, I'm on the right exercise, right? So synchronizing which video am I on, which file should I have open? That was a problem. But you finish it and then you say, okay, now I'm going to watch the solution video. And okay, I'm done with that. Awesome. Confetti is great. And now what do I do next? Well, okay, we've got the extra credit. Okay, so let me come back over here. We'll read this extra credit. And then the idea was that you continue from where you left off. So there's no starting point for the extra credit. You just, hopefully you got the answer here. You're not supposed to actually copy paste this, but hopefully you ended up with something like this, and then we say, okay, rather than having the root node in the HTML, see if you can create one using JavaScript. Okay, and there's not a whole lot of direction there. How do I create that? It's just and so it became a distraction from what you were trying to learn, which I didn't think was awesome. And then also like making sure that you're watching the right video for the right file you have open and everything. So there was a lot of synchronization challenge that was a bit of a problem. Somebody's complaining about lag. If anybody else is getting lag issues, let me know. I'll see if I don't think my computer or our internet is doing much other than this stream. So let me know if anybody else is experiencing some lag. So that is the that was one problem, and also not having a whole lot of direction was another problem. Let's see. I feel like there was another thing that I wanted to mention about this, and sometimes you'd have quite a few extra credits going on in here as well. I feel like there was something else. Oh, right. Then fast forward a little while, and aside from the fact that Create React App has kind of fallen out of vogue and things, yeah, we're getting some lagging. There are some lag issues. Yikes. Let me check something. It could be that I should switch from Xfinity to, okay, yeah, Dropbox is paused. Maybe I should switch from Xfinity to Starlink. Oh, this seems to be going pretty fast. I don't know. Broadcasting live video globally is going to have some lag sometimes. Okay, fine. Thanks, Joel. Yeah, so fast forward in the future, and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to teach full stack stuff. Well, here's a problem. The way that this was set up was you'd have one file for every exercise. How do you teach a full stack app that way? And actually, I had the same problem with the Bookshelf app. If you go to my GitHub/Bookshelf, I couldn't use the Workshop app here at all. And so what I did instead was I did branches. So here we'll go to O1 Bootstrap, and then in each branch, it was exactly one commit ahead of main. Looks like it's actually behind. I forgot to sync. So here's another problem. Keeping things in sync was such a huge pain. And so then you'd go to instructions MD, and here this is what you're supposed to do for this exercise. And I had a nice script. You could say node go, and it would give you a list of the exercises, and it would do the git branching and checkout and all that stuff for you. So it wasn't terrible, but I couldn't use the Workshop app for this experience. So you spend the entire Workshop series going through this familiar experience, and then you get to this one. It's totally different. Testing actually was also different because it's just a different beast altogether. So so that was a pain. It was not awesome to have things work that way. And so when I was building Epic React, I'm like, this is full stack apps. I need to not only run the app, I need its like server and all of that stuff. And so that is where the Epic React Workshop app or the Epic Web Workshop app came from. And it started out as like just a bunch of little scripts and eventually turned into, you might notice right from the get-go, that are different from what we had before. First of all, we have the video right
I'm so excited to have you here to learn about React.
So like we don't have to worry about synchronizing which video am I on or whatever. You just watch this video, you read through the instructions here, and then you say mark is complete. Boom, that's awesome. And then you say, okay, on to the next, continue to the next lesson, data fetching, sweet. And actually, here's a fun little feature. If you click continue next lesson and you're actually on the next lesson already, then it'll highlight the mark is complete thing. You're like, oh, I forgot to mark this was complete. But yeah, so then you can watch this video and you read through this. You've got the transcript right here, and you can just click on any one of those. It'll take you to that spot in the video. All of this stuff, of course, you have to be signed in to be able to see this, and I'll show you how that all works. But yeah, so we've got, this is basically that background information portion of that exercise, and then we hit start learning, and that takes us into this view. I'll explain that set to playground here in a second. So this also has the video right in line, so you don't have to go anywhere else. We can do this all in just one tab. It's awesome. And we read the instructions. We've got Peter, the product manager, here now, and he's going to tell us exactly what we need to do. We have the right side is what we're actually building. And then in addition, because this is now a full stack app that's running on your machine, I can do a lot of other cool things that I couldn't do in a fully client rendered application For example, rendering a diff of the files you have on your file system. This is pretty awesome. Somebody's asking, Christopher is asking, can you mark incomplete as complete? Or can you unmark as complete? Yes, you can. So if we go to the solution here, mark that as complete, we're like, actually, no, I wasn't done. You can click it again. And it's got optimistic UI, so you can click it a billion times and it'll send a request for all those, but it'll always be correct at the end. It's pretty cool. And yes, you can put the videos. Actually, somebody once asked me, can we do it at 4x? And I think they were joking, but I added it. So yes, you can do it from half 0.75 1x all the way up to 4x. So you do get that control. Yeah, so now we have this diff tab. So if you get stuck and it's a typo, some sort of stupid typo thing, you're not sure what's going on here, you just go to the diff tab and you look at this like, oh, I totally forgot to wrap this thing in suspense. That's why it's not working. And how do you know it's not working? Well, you've got the instructions in here, but you also have the tests. Now, V1 also had tests, but you had to go to the terminal and, oh my gosh, let me show you what this did. I actually am a little bit embarrassed that this is what it was, but you'd have to go in here, comment that out and uncomment this. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to run these in CI, and I probably could have made this work as part of like the setup or something, but I also run the tests as part of validation when you install. And so, yeah, I probably could have made it work out, but it didn't, and it wasn't easy. Well, now it is easy and it happens automatically. You just have this test tab and you make changes as you go. So here, if I go to everything, and they actually run right in the browser, you can open it up and that test is running in this context. You can even look at the output here. It's actually very cool, and I'll show you how the tests all work here in a bit. So yeah, the tests are running in the browser. You got the diff. You also have chat. We only have 2 in here right now because we just launched today. But yeah, join chat. It is going to be cool. There are lots of cool things going on in here where you can chat with other people part of this. So yeah, sweet. So that is awesome. You don't have to worry about tracking things. And then on top of that, if you have an exercise that has multiple steps, instead of an extra credit that says, okay, here's your extra credit, now go do this, that actually is just another step in the workshop. So you can hit this set to playground and your IDE or your editor is updated with that code. And now you have not only some like clear instructions on what you're supposed to do, and tests to verify that you did it, and a diff tab to when you get totally stuck on silly things like typos. But you also get inline instructions, which is something we did not get when we had extra credits. So like so much more content and instruction and helpfulness. And one of the problems with the extra credits from V1 is that sometimes it wasn't really extra credit. It was actually like, this is the core thing that we're trying to teach you. But I had this idea of extra credits and multiple steps, and I wanted to break things up. And so that's what we ended up doing. So now every exercise has 1 or more steps, and it can have as many steps as it needs to teach you the topic at hand, which I think is awesome. I'm really happy with this. Very happy. And so yeah, you continue through this. Each video, this is another thing. With the extra credits, you didn't get a video for the extra credit, like explaining what you're supposed to do. You would get a video for the solution of the extra credit, but not for setup of the extra credit. And now you get a video for the setup of this problem and then the solution itself.
Here by trying to look for
and then we mark that as complete. Oh, also, I saved not only your preferences, but also your position in your storage, not in local storage. I think it might actually be in session storage. We'll look at that later. But yeah, so that is also pretty cool. Just a fun little fact. And yeah, then we can continue the next lesson. But hopefully that gives you the idea of how this experience is just so much improved on top of Epic React V1. Now, something I kind of glazed over a little bit is this playground thing. So with our V1, you would go into the exercise directory and you'd open up the exercise that you're working on and you go through them like this. and you just have to know which exercise am I on, which video or page am I on to look at that exercise code, and which page am I on here to know which video I'm on. So you're synchronizing 3 things, and maybe 4 if you're doing the test as well. And so that's a lot of overhead and annoying work. And we've seen how we've taken care of knowing which video you're on by just embedding the video in the app itself. And we've also seen how we handle the tests by having the test tab. But then how do we make sure that you always know which exercise you're supposed to be working on in the code? We do that by saying you actually only ever work in one place, and that is this playground directory inside the repo. So here we have this playground directory. It is actually git ignored, so you can do anything you want to in here. This is actually not a big problem, but kind of a little annoyance for me, was that people would make a bunch of changes for the solutions right here, and then they would go push and they would accidentally open a pull request against the my source repo, which was fine. Like, it happened a lot, so I just got used to it. But it was like a waste of their time to have to, oh, whoops, and close that, because they're actually making changes. Now, the changes that they make are happening in the playground directory that you all make, are happening in the playground directory. And so you're not actually going to be having any git changes at all anyway. And you don't have to search around, which exercise am I on, whatever. Oh, here's another thing. It's like the exercises actually have a title inside the folder, so it's a lot easier to find them if you want to edit one of these things. But yeah, you don't have to go in there at all. You just spend all your time in the playground directory. And in fact, I recommend people open the playground directory in a separate instance of their editor, because that is easier to navigate around. But yeah, with that, you only spend time in there, and the workshop app is going to help make sure that you're always using, or that you're always in the right place, because it has this little set to playground thing that you can click on. It shows up here, and also even in the files right here. So you hit set to playground, it will update the code in here, in that playground, and now you can do, do your work or whatever. So then you click on the index, it'll open right into the file that you're supposed to be working in. It's pretty cool. And yeah, there are a bunch of other really neat and interesting features with all of this stuff. But hopefully I wanted to give you an idea of the history of how this app came to be and everything, because I thought that would be useful. So let me just, Joel said, can you lower the volume on the videos so when you click them, we aren't sad with sudden fast noises? Yes. Actually, I can do that. It's persisted. My options persisted. So
There's an error.
Boom. That.
If it hasn't, there's no ship yet.
So hopefully you're not hearing that.
Otherwise, we'll render the ship.
Actually, you know what? If it's the fast videos that's freaking you out, then we'll just go to 1x. Formalize this a little bit better make you less sad, hopefully. Okay. Okay. Sweet. So that hopefully gives you the context you need to understand what we're going to be diving into. Actually, you know what? One other thing that I should show you, and that is that for the exercises you see, we just have a couple of files in here. We have our index.tsx, and this file is just loaded into the browser as is, and so it's creating the root and rendering the app to the root and all of that stuff. And that's just like the app just loads the file, compiles it on the fly. We'll look at that too. And then, yeah, and then it's rendered like this. So not all, and actually we even have the ability to write some server-side code in here too, which is quite nice. We couldn't do that in V1 either. But some of the things that we need to do actually do involve a server of some kind, like the performance workshop. We need to use code splitting, and so we're going to be using Vite. And then the RSC workshop, that is also a full server as well. And for some of those, we also need our tests to not run in the browser like this does, but to actually run in the, like run in the terminal, run like a playwright thing. And so we have the, let's see if we can find it. Yeah, React Server Components Workshop as an example. This is running on the next available port, so let me just grab that, stick it right here. So for this workshop, oh, that was the wrong one. Let's see, where'd it go? Yeah, here it is. for this workshop, things are slightly different. So we can go to our server components, RSC, or here, let's just do the action reference or server side. Yeah, here we go. So I'll set the playground, and then instead of just rendering the UI stuff, you'll notice our playground actually has a lot more stuff in it. It has this package.json. It has a dev script and a test script. So when those appear, the playground is going to have a start app. And we click on this, and then the application will start, and it'll show up in here. You can pull it up. It's localhost 4000, and then it's like a full app sort of experience that can like have a back end and all of that stuff. You can actually look at the network and get our network calls and everything that we're making there. So that's cool. And then because we have a test script as well, the tests right here will look different too. You have a play button. You can run the test here, and it's running a playwright test script right here. So we've got like the output you would expect to get in your terminal. And it looks awesome in dark mode also, which I worked on, and it's cool. So yeah, you still have the tests. You have the ability to do like a full-on server and everything for this type of an app. And actually this came first because I built the Epic Workshop app for Epic Web. And so Epic Web was a full stack app. But that's the idea is we have our exercises here, and each one of these is like a duplicate of the app. So you can think of the exercises directory as a template for how, for each step. And each one of these has its own README MDX for its own instructions and stuff. Which is pretty cool. Oh, and we also have this Epic Video component, which we'll look into, and that's what renders these videos and the transcripts and stuff. Okay, I think that's everything that you need to know for background to be able to get and appreciate what the Epic Workshop app is doing. I didn't talk about authentication yet. Let me show you that auth flow. And then I can actually start getting into the code. So yeah, actually, let's do this. npm start here. So when you get your first workshop app going, let's say you were starting on React Suspense, which you probably shouldn't do. A lot of people seem to want to skip to the more advanced stuff. But what I say is, if you are so good at React that you don't need the beginner stuff, then you should be able to get through the beginner stuff really fast. So why don't you just do it? It's like when my kids say, oh, I just cleaned my room yesterday. I'm like, great. So it's like almost already clean? Like, yeah. I'm like, great. It shouldn't take you very long to clean it then. And you will probably learn something. So anyway, I'm going to log out of this device. Yoink. And what you're first going to see when you get here is this onboarding video, because it's important for you to understand. Hello and welcome to Epic React works and everything. So that's a half hour where I'll just take you through all of the different pieces of the app. I will admit that it probably would be better if a video like this wasn't necessary and the app was just like really natural and obvious on what you're supposed to do. But it's a pretty different experience than what you would learn from somewhere else. It's really involved, and so I have the video. And so you can watch the video here, and then you say when you finished watching it, when you've actually finished watching, then you say, I've watched it, let's go. And now you're presented with this screen that says authenticate with epicreact.dev. You say retrieve code. So what this does is like one of the challenges that we had is I need to be able to make API calls on your behalf to Epic React to get your progress and whether you have access and different things like that. And so I need to have a code, and I can't just put that in as a cookie, because you have other like apps that you're running where you might clear the cookies. And in fact, in some of the workshops, I say, okay, now clear your cookies, and then like you'd be toast. So I actually need to save this onto the device. So we're going to get the code. This is going to talk to Epic React and say, hey, I need to have an authentication code. And it looks like that failed for some reason. Uh-oh. And I have a, Invalid literal value. Expected auth rejected. Uh-oh. So even the error message, I'm parsing the error message and I'm getting that wrong. Whoops. And the error was outgoing request timed out after 3. Okay, well, rats. You hate the demos to fail. Let's try it again. There we go. Got my verification code. Somebody file an issue about that. We'll look into it. Your verification code is HungryTurtle41. The reason we do that is so that somebody else can't pretend to be authenticating your device. And so this needs to match what you see right on the Epic React website when we get there. Man, maybe my internet is going slow. Or maybe so many people are doing this right now that you're making Vercel slow. Thank you. So yeah, HungryTurtle41, confirm device. And that comes back over here. I am using server sent events for waiting for this to respond. We'll look at that. And then I'm authenticated. I'm to homepage. Okay, great. Now I can watch this. And then we go through the whole experience. So that's the authentication experience. You can go back to your account and connect Discord. We actually are working on a better solution for this. So you can go connect to Discord here. Either way, we'll be fine. That's another thing I need to show you is like what happens when there's an update to this app. But yeah, so you can connect to Discord here and we'll authorize and then that'll come back. Hooray. And you're connected. Awesome. And so that will help with the presence feature that we have here where it'll show you yourself and whoever else is there. If you don't want to show up in there, you can opt out of presence with the click of a button. Easy peasy. Now you're just an invisible person. It says that an Epic React dev is working on React Suspense. Awesome. But it doesn't identify you in any way. Or you can opt back in because we're humans and it's awesome that we can like interact in this way. So yeah, I think now that is everything in the app as far as features are concerned. I just realized I've been neglecting chat. So let me come back over here, to chat and see what I missed. How do you click on a web page, change in the code in files? Did I miss? Yeah, I haven't explained that yet. That'll come here soon. Yeah, we'll get into that. Okay, more stuff. Okay, good. Oh, you know what? Somebody asked about free content and stuff. There is actually 100% free tutorials on here. Yeah, if we come down here to get started with React, then you can go through the experience. You can actually watch the videos on epicreact.dev as well. Yeah, so there are free tutorials available that you can go through the entire experience. You have to log in, but an account is free. And you can experience everything. This is the first 4 exercises of the first workshop. And then, of course, you can go through all of the workshops. You just don't get access to the videos, the test tab, or the diff tab. But everything else you can go through because I think that's cool. Okay, great. Coming back here now. Let's close some of these things and get over to the Epic Workshop app. So close the old Workshop app. That is gone. That will not receive any updates in the future. We are now in the Workshop app. Let me get browse to open that up. So you can come over here right now and star it for free. You do not need to pay anything to star this repo. It's amazing. Stars all over the place. This is where the 780 commits that I've made to this awesome app. I think it's 20,000 lines of code in the various packages involved here. That does a lot of really cool stuff. So we're going to look into it. And first, I'll mention that it is a monorepo. It's using NX to coordinate the different packages that are involved. We have, let's see, where is our packages? Right here. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. Update Epic Workshop. let's see. I want to show you what this does. So right here, when I run npm start on the React Fundamentals workshop, there's something that's happening that it's not showing you. It's starting up the app and warming up a cache in the background. But it's also talking to this GitHub URL to see if there are any commits that we're missing. So I'm going to simulate that. We're going to check out that and get reset hard actually to that. Okay, clear. Oh, whoops. Yeah. Okay, get reset hard to that. There we go. Okay, so now let's say I was working on this and then I come to work on the workshop again, and Kent has gone and updated the workshop app or updated some material. Somebody fixed a typo or something. I'm going to run npm test or start to get started on my learning. And this is going to give me an output that says, hey, there are updates available. Somebody made a pull request and updated some typos or whatever. In Epic React v1, this was just not a thing. You just have to like watch the repo to know that like things are updating. In v2, it is like a fully automated process. So you can just copy this line, stop the server, paste it here, and while that's running, you okay to proceed. You can pop open this diff to see, oh, here's what changed. They updated a version of the workshop app, and you can go to the workshop app repo and look at the changelog if you're really that interested in any of those features, whatever. But yeah, then the update was successful, so now we can run npm start again. Now we have the latest and greatest updates for the app, and we can pop that open and everything is working, and I can say, okay, continue from where I left off. Oh, it was right here. Great. Now let's go on to the next. And sweet. Watch this, do all the things, continue where I left off, or go to the next, and here we are. Mark that as complete and continue and continue and continue, and it's awesome. So that is another feature I wanted to make sure to highlight. That is all managed by the update epic workshop bin. So that's the npx command that you ran. And so first, it's going to check whether we require updates. So when you run that command, we're going to first say, do we require any updates? Are we online? If we're not online, say we're not. And then go get the is inside working tree. So make sure that we're inside of a repo when we're running this. And then we're going to get the remote repository. We're going to get the current branch from wherever we're at right now, and the local commit. And with those two things, we're going to use that to determine what is the remote commit for that branch. After fetching everything to make sure that we have we know what that would be. And then we're going to do or get a difference between those two, and to find out what how far behind we are. And that determines whether there's an update available. Are we behind by more than one commit, by one or more? And then we'll get the diff link as well. So that's just going to give us that URL that it says, here's what it looked like before and after. And if there are updates available, then, or if there aren't any updates available, we'll just say you're good, no updates available. Otherwise, if there's a diff link, we'll say, hey, we found a diff. Here's the link if you want to look at it. And yeah, that way you know what we're updating it to. Then we're going to handle any uncommitted changes. So we're going to stash those. And then we'll pull the latest. We'll reapply stash stuff and then reinstall dependencies, because often the changes involve change dependencies. And oh yeah, also sometimes, I can't remember where this was, but sometimes we have a update where we want to, or like after you do this update process, we want to run something. I think this is for like rerunning Prisma Generate or something like that for some of the full stack stuff. But yeah, if that script exists in part of the Epic Shop config in the package.json, then we'll run that script as well, and then we'll say updated successfully. So that's that. and that's the entire update Epic Workshop repo. That one's a pretty simple one. I don't change that very often at all. I'll also mention briefly this workshop presence thing. So this is that left tab stuff over here where we've got all these people who are working on or looking at this workshop. So it's that pile of faces, that face pile. So that is this workshop presence thing, and it's all powered by PartyKit. PartyKit is amazing. I don't think that's the most, the code for this is the most interesting part of all of what we're doing here. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time working on this. Yeah, so it, honestly, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. We have a server that implements the party server. Honestly, I should say it's awesome. And Sunil has done something really incredible. But I think most of you are probably interested in some of the other features. Specifically, some of you asked, like, how do you implement the click on this and open in your editor thing? So we'll get to that pretty soon. So yeah, whenever somebody connects to the this server, let's see, on request, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Yep, we're going to set our party, which is our when somebody connects, well, okay, actually this is something that I haven't ever tried to explain before, so I've got to find the words. PartyKit is a implementation of durable objects that is on Cloudflare. Okay, we're going to get too far into this. I don't have time to dive too far into this. Yeah, suffice it to say, it operates over WebSockets. Cloudflare manages all those connections. We store all of the users and like the information about the users, which I'll show you is not a ton. Let's see, where is our user schema? So we just take their ID, avatar URL, their name, and their location within the workshop. There's no identifying information in here other than the avatar URL and the name, both of which you have control over. So yeah, you don't need to worry about weird sharing of information here. But yeah, and I use the location so that the people that show up first in here are going to be the ones who are located in a similar place to you. So let's see. I also have this page that shows where everybody is. Just because it's fun to see. So let's take some other workshop. Yeah, Advanced React APIs. Advanced APIs. And here we've got one other person who's also in the Advanced APIs. And if I go to exercise 1, step 6, now that person is right next to me and we're both glowing because we're on the exact same spot, which I think is kind of fun. So that's what we're using the location for. Okay, so that's probably as much as I need to talk about with that. I also have a server aspect of this, so we can load the present users. So on the server render, we get that total number of users right away. I think that number is going to increment by 1 every time because until I land on the page and actually start running JavaScript, I'm not counted in that number. So I should probably account for that. Just say, yeah, on the server render, take the total present users and increment it by 1 because they're about to also be a present user. I should probably do that. But anyway, this is for the server rendering. So it just makes a request, and we're using promise.race so that our server's not waiting for this particular thing. If it doesn't show up, it's okay to like have it show up later. I'm doing a lot to try and make that initial render as fast as possible. It's little things like this by saying, hey, if this takes more than 500 milliseconds, then just abandon. But it normally takes like 30 milliseconds. So it's normally quite fast. Okay, sweet. So that's the face pile thing. Workshop utils is where lots of the logic around which apps do I have and how do we manage our caching and a bunch of other things. We'll dive into those. Oh, the process manager is pretty interesting as well. iframe sync. Yeah, that one's also interesting. I didn't really talk about this, but in some of the apps where you're running an actual server, you also have routing and stuff. and I want, I have like the iframe that has the URL bar, and I need to keep that URL bar in sync with whatever's in the iframe. So I have this iframe sync thing that helps with that. Okay, my voice is getting tired. Okay, somebody is asking why Remix devs love light themes, because Ryan also likes light themes. My theme changes according to the time of day. So if it is dark outside, then my theme changes to dark mode. I don't know. I just kind of like it. I also work outside a lot. And so being able to see my screen is nice. Okay, cool. Something that might be interesting is the config, just so you get an idea of the things that can be configured. So this is all configured in the root package JSON of the workshop repo. And so we have a title, subtitle, instructor. The instructor includes the name, avatar, X or X handle. You're welcome, Artem. He didn't want to have to copy paste the funny character, but I wanted to keep it, so it's my fault, honestly. And then, yeah, these two are actually deprecated. Everything's in the product now, so we have the host, so Epic Web or Epic React, and then we have the display name and the short version. The logo, so this is what goes up in the corner right up here and in other spots. And then the slug for the workshop that we're looking at. So this is for API calls that we make. The Discord channel ID, so we actually filter yeah, like we have an exclusive channel for our chat. So if I come over here and go to the chat, it knows which channel to get all of this stuff from. We're looking at the Foundations workshop. So this is the Epic Web Dev channel. And then here, if we go to the chat tab here, oh, sweet, we've got another thing in here. Oh, you know what? That was the reason it didn't have 3 before was because of a cache and a stale while revalidate. Ha, if I'd refreshed, then I would have seen this. But, oh, and actually it also filters by the tag as well. So maybe I wasn't looking at the right workshop. But yeah, so this is just the fundamentals and general stuff that shows up here. So that's what the Discord tags is all about. And then the onboarding video. So we're going to have a different onboarding video for getting started with the Epic Workshop app with Epic Web than we do with Epic React. And so that's a different onboarding video for that. And then the GitHub repo, Stack Blitz is useful for the production deployed version of the app. So you can at least like look at the files and be like, okay, so that's what this file is about. It's not really intended to be used as a development environment because developing locally is actually an important aspect of what the workshop app enables you to do. Even Epic React version 1 enabled that, and it was important for me that we do that. So there's that, and then we have our forms for our feedback forms. So elaboration and feedback at the end of each exercise is important. We have a little levity here, something to remind you to take a break, and then a form to say, hey, what did you think of the exercise? But more importantly, elaborate on what you learned. You need to write down in your own words what you learned. That will help it stick better because retention is key, just like in the song. So yeah, that is that. The test tab can be disabled. This is useful for a workshop that is exclusively testing and you want people to run the tests inside of their terminal, not in a test tab, because you want people to practice like how they actually run tests. So I added this for Artem and it is useful for testing workshops. And then scripts, this is just that post update thing. And then also the initial route. So why does this say add this line? So for apps that have a route, this would add to the iframe for that that playground tab and the whatever, so that your initial route is on the page that you want people to be on. Then we just do some of this stuff to handle backward compatibility and other things. And then we also have each individual app can have its own config, which is right down here. So, oh, by the way, this is Zod. If you're not familiar with Zod, it's amazing. Super, super great for making type safe schemas and parsing and stuff. It's cool. Okay, so you can configure StackBlitz specifically for individual apps. Oh, sweet. Love this right here. I love that feedback form exists. It forces me to explain what I learned in my own words. Yes, it's very intentional. It's not just busy work, and it's not just, I want your feedback. I do want your feedback, but the key is forcing you to like, what did I just learn? And it will help it fix it in your mind. That's very intentional. Yeah, so individual apps in the exercise directory can configure StackBlitz for themselves and whether the test tab should show up. And also we want to know, do they have a test and a dev script? And if they do, then we're going to use the test tab will have a little start test thing and it will run the script. And the dev script will show the little start app button instead of just trying to render things in the screen as a like in-browser app sort of thing. And then you can configure the initial route just for that. So there you go. That's what can be configured in the Workshop app currently. Okay, there's a bunch of other stuff in here. This apps server is, honestly, this was converted from a script that I just copy pasted to all the apps until I decided, okay, I know what this is supposed to look like. Not into all the apps, but all the workshops. Yeah, this one is probably like, this is the bulk of logic, and this is responsible primarily for reading the file system and knowing which exercises are available for people, and also like managing the set to playground and stuff. So here we have our app and the app is represented by everything inside of one of these exercise directories. So these are exercises, these are exercise steps, and each step has a problem and a solution. So we have our problem and solution. So here is a problem. This is an app right here, this folder, that's an app. And also this is an app. So some apps don't even have a package JSON, and that's most of Epic React is these simple apps is what I call them. So each app is going to have a name, a title, a directory name, and its full path, a relative path. Some of this is obviously derived, but the instructions code, so that's the README. They'll have the Epic video embed. So inside of the README, if it has any Epic video, here actually let's not make this so abstract. Come here to the problem. We'll go to the README MDX, and this Epic video right here. It can have more than one actually, but it's going to take that URL and it's going to stick that inside of this Epic video embeds. And then we're going to have our test config. So it's going to either be a browser test, so the in-browser test, or it'll be a script that we run in our process manager and pipe those responses back, or it doesn't have any tests, and so the test tab won't show up. And then we have our dev config. So if it's a simple app, it doesn't have a package.json and stuff, it doesn't have a dev script, then we're going to try and run it in the browser directly. And I'll show you how that works. And it can also be a script that has a dev script. We're going to have a port number for each one of these, so we could run them all at once, every app at once, and they'd be on a different port. That would probably bring your machine to a screaming halt trying to do that. Which is why we don't start and stop them automatically. You have to start and stop them yourself. And then the initial route for each one of those as per the config. Or it doesn't have anything to run. So this would be like the test, like a workshop that's just tests or something like that. Might not have a dev thing. And then our StackBlitz URL for production, the deployed version of the app. And then we have some apps are special, and that's most of these apps. So each one of these would apply. They are an exercise step app. We have a problem and a solution. So we've got the problem, solution, and each one of these is going to have the exercise number and the step number that's derived from the file, and then the type for the problem, if it has a problem in it, and the type for the solution. We also have examples, and I think the performance workshop has an example. Yeah, so some of the workshops have an example. so that those can be run and previewed and all of that stuff as well. So you can also have examples that are separate from the exercises. And then, of course, you also have the Playground app. So this is type Playground, the app name. This is the name is actually the ID, the unique identifier for an app. So this is which app is this Playground based on, and whether or not it's up to date. So if you set to Playground, and then I make a change to the exercise, and then you go and update, if that exercise was updated since you set to Playground, you need to set to Playground again because you're missing some stuff. So that's what the is up to date means. And then our exercise schema. So each exercise, that's what this represents. We're going to have a number, dir name, the title, the instructions code. So that's going to be the README here. The finish code. So that's what we display on the finish page. This is a bad example because it doesn't show you, like normally it'd be Peter the product manager saying, great job. And maybe there'd be Olivia the owl saying, let me tell you about something that is like a best practice or something. But yeah, typically include some of that, and that will be the finished code. So that's the post-processed version of the code. And then I'm getting a bunch of notifications. Let me just see if there's anything important here. No. Okay. Okay, very good. Just good things. Okay, so then we have our instructions epic video embeds. So that's the videos that are in the README, and then the videos that are in the finished are the finished epic video embeds. And then we have the steps, which is an array of one of these things. So it's going to be the step number and a problem solution. It's going to be a step number and only a problem, or a step number and only a solution. These two are really only useful for when I'm in the process of developing the workshop and I don't have the problem done yet or the solution done yet. It's pretty much only ever going to be an array of steps that include a step number and a problem and solution. Okay, cool. So now we've got our exercise steps schema. It's either a problem or a solution. And then our app is going to be either an exercise, a playground, or an example. And then I've got a whole bunch of stuff to make it so I can determine that really easily, whether they are one of those things. And then a couple other utilities in here as well. Modified times is going to be an interesting thing that we'll probably look at here in a bit. I just got to decide, when do I look at this init thing? Yeah, we'll get into that when we start talking about how I make this stuff not super slow. So one of the first things that happens, I think that kind of gives you a pretty good idea of the data structure, because like most everything else is derived off of that data structure. So one of the first thing that happens when you say npm start in your app, here, let's actually look at, what am I looking for? Fundamentals. Here we go. So if you look at your package.json in the repo, you'll see all that config. Some of that should be kind of familiar. Oh, I should mention also the instructor. The reason that this instructor matters is because right in here, if we look at the head and look at our OG image, we've got an OG image right here that includes the instructor. And I'm not the only instructor who uses this workshop app. We've got Artem and Simon, and we have future instructors as well. But yeah, so that instructor information shows up right here, which is kind of cool for the OG image. So if you share this on social media or whatever, for example, if we went to here, take a look at the OG image there, we also have the instructor, but the name of the workshop is down here, and the name of the exercise, all that. It's pretty cool, generating the OG image. I can show you how I do that too. Okay, so one of the first things that happens here with the start is you run the Epic Shop binary start script inside of the Epic Shop directory. Why are we doing that? So we could say, here we've got our package.json. We could put all these dependencies in the root, but the problem is that the Epic Web Workshop app and utils and everything depends on a version of Remix and React and things that could be different from the rest of the workshop. So we need that separation. So this gets its own version of everything. It gets its own node modules directory, and all of the other workshops get their versions of node modules right there. So that's why we're doing things that way. But yeah, so it runs the Epic shop binary. So let's go find that binary. It's right here. Let's look at the package.json here. Epic Web Workshop app. This is semantically released. Actually, it's using NX for releasing. It's very good. I'm very happy with that. And here's our binary. It's inside of bin epic shop. So if we go to bin epic shop, this is run as is. Nothing's compiled or anything, so it's a JS file. It takes the command start, and we've also got upgrade and update, which will run the update for you. But you probably won't ever run this because you'll run the npx update epic workshop CLI instead, because that's like what's printed out for you. But anyway, the start script is what we care about. This is going to grab your current working directory. And if we're in production and we're, or we're published, so we're on in the deployed environment, then we're going to run the start script with the node.env as production. Otherwise, we'll run the dev script. We'll look at, we'll look at both of these here. So let's go to the start script now. And, or actually here, let me show you the dev script really quick. It's kind of interesting. So the dev server, all this does is it uses TSX to add a watch. We'll ignore the cache and app and the Vite timestamp thing. I don't know what that's all about, but it like shows up sometimes and it's weird. The build, the dist, all that. And yeah, we'll also run the inspect flag so I can bring up the node inspector, and we'll run the start script. So it's basically the same thing. Like we're going to end up running the start script either way. But in this case, we are running in watch mode, which is kind of nice. And so yeah, now let's get over here to the start script. So now we're going to make sure that node.env is set up to development if it's not already assigned. Enable watcher we'll set to true. So we'll talk about the watcher here in a little bit. And then we'll get our context. So where's the root directory for our workshop app? And then we're going to read the .env. So this is useful for, let's Epic React get started. Right on here, you'll notice this troubleshooting step. So the launch in editor, I know some of you are probably still watching this just so you can see how do I open up your editor. But sometimes that doesn't work because I can't detect your editor properly. And so if you really want to just force that, you add a .env file with an Epic Shop editor set to the path to your editor. And then that'll work. So that's why we load the .env file right here so that we can get that environment variable in there. Okay, sweet. So now we have, if the node environment is production, then we're going to run the built version. Otherwise, we'll run the TS directly. So if we're in development, we're running with TSX and we can import TypeScript files, which is kind of cool. So let's go to the server index.ts. This is an Express server. It's a typical Remix app, actually. We've got a WebSocket going on in here. We've got, yeah, this actually should be pretty familiar to anybody who uses the Epic Stack. It wasn't based on the Epic Stack because this came before the Epic Stack, but the Epic Stack is actually based on this in some ways. So there are a couple of things you might see in here that you're like, hey, Kent, you don't need to do this stuff anymore. And I'm like, yeah, kind of. We still support Node 18, so some of these things we have to worry about. But one of the first things that we do is we do init apps. And what this does is it is, first, if it's already initialized, we just return. But we're going to go grab the workshop config. We'll make sure our environment variables are set up so that we can access this anywhere. And we'll initialize our environment. So if we go in here, we're going to take our environment schema and parse process env so that we can access that all over the place. And it just pretty cool. We'll probably see that in a couple places. We'll set up the global env to have those global environment variables. And then we have this handle file changes. So we have this watcher where anytime a file is changed, we're going to call this. So if the file is the workshop root JSON, we're going to bust the workshop config cache. So that actually is a pretty simple cache. It's just in memory, so we don't have to read the package JSON over and over and over again. But if the package JSON with all the config is ever changed, we want to bust that cache, and so that's what that's all about. Otherwise, we're going to call getApps. So getApps is going to go read all the files to and parse all the MDX and talk to the Epic React API to get transcripts and all that stuff. This getApps function is called an outrageous amount of times, and it does an outrageous amount of things, so many things. And so it is very heavily cached. Like, so much caching is happening with this getApps. So we'll dive into that deeper. And so that's part of the reason why we actually call it as soon as the server starts. Go kick that off and warm up the cache as fast as possible. And so then we'll take each of those apps, and if the file starts with, if the file that was changed starts with the full path of the app, then we'll update the modified times for that full path to say, or for that app to be date.now. Okay, cool. And so with that initialization set up and that watcher hanging out, waiting to update modified times so that we know when each apps are changed, now we're going to continue with regular Remix dev server stuff. We're going to determine, are we deployed? Are we published? Is it, let's see, is running in build directory? Yeah, so yeah, a couple of those things are useful. This actually, we don't need to bother with that anymore because we are doing the init apps thing, but I'm going to leave that for right now. We're also going to warm up the cache for the present users as well. Has updates. Oh yeah, we're also going to check for the updates like I showed you earlier. Then this is just normal Express stuff you should be pretty familiar with. If you've ever done Express, we're doing some local CDN stuff. And remember, this is running on the local user's machine. And so like it also runs in a production environment, but like a lot of things are happening on the local user machine. Which I just think is kind of interesting. Not sure why I brought that up just now. If we're not in a production or published environment, so is published, this would be like it's running on your machine. Like it's published to the NPM package. So if we're not published, we're not deployed, then we're going to add some logs for myself during development. And then we're going to do a bit of a redirecting happening here. So if I go to let's do performance, epic react.dev, and we go /1/1, you'll notice that takes me to /exercise/01/01. That way all of the links are in the right spot, and if people are sharing things, they get to the right place and everything. And it's also easy to get to wherever you want to go. So that's what this logic does, is manage that. Then create request handler, that's a Remix thing to say, okay, now everything else Remix is going to handle. Then we get our determine our desired port. That 5638 is Kodi in 3.9. So if or T9. So if you like had an old phone that had the numbers on it and the letters on it, whatever, then 5639 would spell Kodi. I actually have thought about this a little bit more, and I kind of wish that I had done Epic instead. But Kodi is fun. We love Kodi. Thanks, Kodi. So yeah, then we. Based on that, we're going to get that port and see if it's available, that port or any of the next 100 ports, and that will be our port to use. So if you're running like a couple of apps, workshop apps at the same time, that's totally fine. We'll just know which port to use from this. Now, if you're running multiple apps at the same time and you want to run both of the first problem app at the same time, then those two would share a port and you'd be in trouble there. But I don't see that ever really happening. I don't know why anybody would do that. So then we're going to listen on that port, and we're going to let you know if we're not using the default port because that yeah, it can be useful to, oh, yeah, I didn't realize I was already running this app somewhere else. Let's see. I just wanted to make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. Yeah, we're all good. Now, Cody says, let's get learning. We say what port we're on. We also want to know if we're on, like, if you want to connect to this from your phone or something like that. So we tell you your network port as well. I stole that from Create React App. It's quite nice. And then if we have updates, then we're going to log out that you have updates. And we saw that earlier. We also set up a WebSocket. So whenever files change, we have this get watcher. I didn't dive into that, but the get watcher, if we're deployed, it doesn't do anything. Otherwise, we return the watcher. And if the watcher doesn't exist yet, we'll create it. This is using Chokidar. And we're just watching the workshop root. We ignore initial, and then so we don't fire off an event right when we start. And then we ignore all of these typically need to be ignored directories. And I'm pretty sure that's all of them that we would need. Yeah, and then we also have this change tracker watcher. So if we need to re-import this file for some reason, then we can just reference that one. It's kind of interesting. Long-running servers are fun. And then we have this, yeah, if that already exists, then uninstall the previous one and create a new one. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Okay, so coming back here, whenever any file changes, we've got this file changes. We'll add the file path. Okay, I'm getting a bunch of notifications. I think this is coming from my front door, which I'm going to snooze. My wife is here. She can take care of the front door. She agreed. She's awesome. She's very nice. I love her. Okay, so if, let's see. Yeah, if there's no current timer, because we do want to wait, we're kind of buffering all the files that are changed. But once we hit 50 milliseconds of no changes, then we're going to send to the client an update. Say, hey, Epic Shop file changed. Here are all the files that changed. Do with it as you will. And we'll see what our client ends up doing with that. And then when we're all done, we'll close up both the server and our WebSocket server. So that is what happens when you start up the app. So now let's look at our Remix app. So everything else, pretty much everything else we're going to do is in this Remix app, though we also have the utils that we'll probably dive into a little bit as well. So starting with let's start with the entry server. So when we get a request, this is all pretty typical Remix stuff. If you've ever done Remix before, this all should be pretty familiar. Nothing too special going on here. We don't need to worry about a nonce or anything like that because we don't like, even in the deployed version, we're not running third-party code. It's all our own code. And so, yeah, we don't need to worry about nonce and that nonsense. And the HTTP cookies that matter are HTTP only. So, yeah. So, yeah, pretty typical stuff. We are doing render to pipeable stream, though, which is important because we are doing defer for a couple of things. So we're streaming a couple of things into the client to make it as fast as possible. So we'll look at that. And then let's look at, yeah, entry client, also pretty simple. I think eventually I want to add Sentry tracking to this so I know if it's running on your machine and you're experiencing errors. I want to know about those so I can fix them. The interesting thing though is like you could be using an old version of the app like forever and I can't make you update. So that's kind of one of the weird and interesting things about this. It's not a typical web application. It's like, yeah, there's a lot more to it. Okay, so then we've got our root. The root is not terribly long. So let's take a look. Couple links stuff, meta function stuff. So here's our SEO meta tags that includes our OG image and stuff. Here, I'll dive, yeah, we'll dive into that really quick. So yeah, just a bunch of logic around making sure that we have all the information we need. We add our Twitter card and all of that stuff. We have our OG image. That image URL comes from adding the domain of the request plus /OG. I don't know why I'm not getting syntax highlighted here. That's kind of weird. And then we create a new URL with search params for what that OG image should say. We'll look at what that OG thing does right now. OGTSX. So this is a remix route for a loader. We have timings, server timings, so I can keep track of how fast each part of all of this stuff is, so I can debug performance issues there. We're going to grab some of the data for the title, subtitle, and other things there, and then we have this OG layout component that is just like regular component stuff. I know technically I could probably use Tailwind classes for this, but I'm just using regular inline styles. It's a static thing that's generated, so I'm not too bothered. You could dive into this a little bit if you wanted to, but the most interesting and important part of all of this comes down, well, so yeah, first I can render it as HTML if I want to debug a couple of things. But right here, I'm using Cachefied. This is a package that was developed. I started developing it as part of my personal website. And then I invited, like, somebody, please make this a package. And somebody did. And now I'm a co-maintainer of that as part of the Epic Web org on NPM. And I am using it heavily in the Workshop app to cache all kinds of things. Yeah, so we have a OG cache that is a singleton cache, which is an LRU. So it's an in-memory cache for all of the OG images that are generated. So we don't have to generate it more than once. We've got a nice long stale while we validate and all that stuff too. So if the server's running for a very long time, we'll just hang on to those and that's fine. Then we have our get OG image. This is going to use Satori. This is a really cool project from Vercel that allows you to take JSX and turn that into a OG image, or actually just an image in general. In our case, we're using it for OG. So we've got our JSX, we set our parameters. We also have the fonts we want to use. So I have this get font utility, also using Cachefied. I make a fetch request to get the text for that font. And then that goes into the fonts that are accessible by Satori. Load additional assets. So we're going to load any emoji, because emoji rock. We're using this Twimoji, because I like the Twitter emojis. This is also cached, because I don't want to have to wait for any of that nonsense. And it's cached. Actually, do I not have a time to live on this? I think it's cached forever if you don't put a time to live. So I'm pretty sure I don't ever want it to change anyway, so that's fine. It'll cache until like the server restarts, because the emoji cache is part of the OG cache, so that's fine. And yeah, then we turn it into an SVG, and then we turn that into a PNG, and we return that as data. And that comes back here. We send that response as image PNG. We send the server timing so we can take a look at how long everything took. So if I wanted to, let's see, we've got that. Open up the DevTools. We've got our network right here. I can look at the timing stuff. Whoops. Here we go. Timing. And I can see OG image cache retrieval took I don't know that you can see this. Here we go. That took 0.1 milliseconds. And the OG image loader, so the loader function itself, took 0.3. So that 0.1 is inside of that 0.3. So it was pretty fast. If I do change the version to like anything else, then that's going to bust the cache. But not all of the cache, because the emoji stuff is going to be in the cache. But yeah, the font is already in the cache. I think I can force it. If I say and force or fresh true, I think, or maybe force fresh. Might be force fresh. Here, let's see. Because I think it's kind of interesting. Yeah, so in Cachefied, force fresh should force fresh if, yeah, fresh. Oh, yeah, so that shouldn't have worked or been so fast. Oh, maybe it was because of this. Yeah, let's change the version also. There we go. Okay, I think, looks like we're still retrieving some stuff from the cache, but it's still pretty fast. But yeah, we can see each one of these different pieces. somebody just asked, does this cover Next? Epic React doesn't cover any framework. But what I'm talking about right now is the Epic React Workshop, which uses Remix, and it's great. Okay, sweet. So that's you'll see timings in quite a few places throughout, because I want to be able to easily measure how long different things are taking, even in a deployed environment. And so that is why we have this server timing header and this timings thing that we throw into every one of these calls to Cachefied, because Cachefied will add special headers and stuff, because my version of Cachefied does that. Let's see, where is... Yeah, I've got this Cachefied timing reporter that handles all of that stuff. It's pretty cool. And I think this actually might be open sourced somewhere. It's in the Epic stack if it's not. So pretty helpful, cool stuff. That's how we do our SEO meta tags. Okay, so then we've got our loader. Grab our workshop config. So our title, subtitle, instructor onboarding video. We're going to read that data. Okay, so let's look at how we store data on your device. This includes authentication data and stuff. We've got this read DB. If we're deployed, there is no data that we're storing. Otherwise, we're going to check, does the DB path exist? So our DB path is going to be in your app directory, which is in your home directory .epicshop, and we have our data.json. Inside of there is going to be your token and stuff, so don't send that to people. That's a terms of service violation and also stealing. But yeah, so then we've got our data schema. So here's all the stuff we have in the data. Onboarding, and here's the tour videos watched. That's an array of strings. So you could have watched the Epic Web onboarding video, but you didn't watch the Epic React onboarding video, so you're going to need to watch that one too. Then we have our preferences and the auth info and Discord member info. So let's go to preferences. We're going to store your volume, your playback, your autoplay, your subtitle preferences, whether you're muted, whether you're in theater mode, default view, and active sidebar tab. Yeah, lots of interesting things in the player preferences. The presence, if you want to opt out, that is also stored locally on the device. And auth info, that's going to include the token set, email, and name. We're going to transform to also include an ID, which is the MD5 hash of your email. And then this is actually probably going to change. We'll actually start getting some of this information from the Epic React API directly, rather than like making up an ID for you and stuff. And then the Discord member schema is going to have the avatar URL, display name, and ID. Somebody just asked, is this course prerequisite for Epic Web Dev? I wouldn't say it's a prerequisite. As long as you have good experience with React, like relatively good experience, then you should be fine. So yeah, you're totally fine to just jump into Epic Web. But Epic React is definitely going to be a great way to get experience with React if you don't have it already. And it will take you to the next level if you do. Mark asked, could you share that OG preview URL? I'd like to show my UX team. Are you asking for like the this? Like you could go to, here, let's go to the deployed version, open up Elements, and grab this. So there you go, Mark. So yeah, that's going to end up rendering this. I think it looks pretty cool. And actually, the background can be configured in each workshop as well. So we can go to public, image, or OG, and that background and logo are all, like, whatever you put in there is what's going to show up. And it defaults to just an Epic Web background. So that's kind of fun. And we also have the logo for Epic React, which is pretty cool too. So there's that. Coming back over here. What was I? Yeah. So we were talking about Discord member schema, all that stuff. So that's all what's stored in the database. And again, the database is literally just a JSON file. Maybe one day I'll update it to be SQLite. That might be nice. And then I could potentially have migrations and stuff like that too, which could be pretty cool, and migrate your device as you go. If we have a parsing error, then we're just going to move it over to backup, and you're going to have to log in again. And your preferences and all that stuff are going to be lost. Not a terrible thing to happen, so I'm not terribly concerned about it. But yeah, so that's what this file is all about, is managing that file. Okay, so we're going to get the onboarding, and if you haven't already watched the onboarding video for this workshop, then we're going to send you to the onboarding route where it will show the onboarding video. Otherwise, we're going to get the preferences that you've specified, so we can feed those into the Mux player. We're going to get the progress. So this is like am I running this? Yeah, here we go. So that's these, your progress on the workshops, where you're at so far. So we're going to grab that from the API, which is not simple, I guess I should say. If we go get progress for lesson, oh no, that's let's see, right here, here we go. So this is our, where is it? Get epic progress, that's what I want. So get epic progress is going to make an authenticated request. So here's our token. Makes an authenticated request to the host, which in our case will be epicreact.dev to /API/progress. And that is going to return an epic progress schema, which is just the lesson ID and completed at. And then I need to take that and combine it with all of the videos that are in the workshop to know, are you done yet with this video? And so that's kind of what the this get progress thing does, is ultimately it gives you an array of objects that include the different types of progress that you can have. So you're done on the workshop instructions, or you're done on the workshop finished, or whoops, that was a mistake. Or you're done on, here, let's go to get progress for a lesson. You're done on the instructions for this exercise, or you're done on the finished step for this exercise, or you're done on this step. So each one of those has some progress associated. And so once you have that progress, yoink, 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 back, 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 back. There we go. We're going to catch so that like you can still run this if you're offline or something like that. And we just say, no, we don't know what your progress is. This is also cached, I should say, as well. Like each one of these is going to be cached instead of cachified. So it's not only going to be fast, but it also should work offline if you've loaded it up once at least. It should work offline anyway. If it ever doesn't work offline, then let me know. There are some workshops that actually do kind of require you have an internet connection, which I would like to make work offline as well. But yeah, so we're going to get our progress. We're going to get our toast. So if we're redirecting from somewhere and we need to show a toast message, that's that. I actually teach about that in Epic Web. We're going to get our confetti. It's actually a pretty similar thing to the toast. So you could redirect from one place and need to show confetti. We're going to get the Discord member, which comes from the database. Get the current theme, which comes from the request cookies. Get the user info. I could probably parallelize a lot of this stuff, but it's fine. Somebody's asking if it's legal for us to, for me to charge you to upgrade to V2. Yes, it is legal, and it is also right. You should scrub back, and you'll understand a little bit why we're charging for the upgrade. So yeah, then we're going to get the user info. We're going to determine whether the user has access to this workshop, because that's how we conditionally display the diff and the test tab and various other things in the app. We're going to get all of the apps that are available, and then get the present users so we can show how many users there are. And with all of that, we send that back as data, including this env thing. That should be familiar to anybody who went through Epic Web. And we're just going to take the apps and map those down to their name, full path, and relative path for use later. And yeah, send all of this data on, including the server timings and the toast headers and confetti headers. So that's that. I think the rest of this, like, this is not as exciting or interesting, but because it's all just like React stuff. Here's something that's kind of interesting. So the script tag is an inline script for, yes, I could definitely promise.all some of that stuff and make this faster. But let's see, like, what is the speed right now? If I go to, here we'll go to the root. Okay, so here's our localhost. This is going to have our timing. Our root loader took 200 milliseconds. I could probably speed that up by doing promise.all. Yeah, 148 that time. Yeah, I would definitely accept a pull request if anybody's interested in adding promise.all to this loader. Because, yeah, these things do not need to wait for each other at all. Yeah, it would be pretty easy. I do promise.all on a couple other loaders. Okay, yeah, so here's a script to set a global env so I can access some of these environment variables globally on both the server and client. So you saw earlier I had a global.env equals this, and then now we've got a window.env right here. That way you can access env anywhere in the app. So those public environment variables, easy peasy. And we're doing that right here. So env epic shop deployed. If it is deployed, then we're not going to bother with the WebSocket. Otherwise, we're going to set up our WebSocket. So let's look at that. It's kind of interesting. I used to have an editor plugin that would syntax highlight this because of this comment. I should probably install that again because this stinks to look at. I wish I could remember what it was called. It's probably in here. Highlight. No. Color highlight? No, that's not it either. Rats. I don't remember what the plugin was called. Anyway, yeah, this Epic Live Reload Connect. We call that instantly. And it's going to determine our protocol. It's going to create a route, or it's going to create a WebSocket connection to that WebSocket URL that our Express server is serving. We're going to handle the file change. So if you were watching earlier, you would have seen this. We're sending a event called Epic Shop File Change. So we're going to handle that file change. We're going to console log to say, here are the files that changed. Let's see. Yeah, if we have an Epic Shop handle file change. So if our JavaScript is picked up, then we can, we don't have to do a full page reload. Otherwise, we'll just do a full page reload. We do have a debounce on this as well. So if we get a bunch of those events really quickly, then we don't reload, or yeah, we don't have to handle the file change many times. On open, config.onOpen. Where's my config? I actually don't remember what this is. Oh, right. So this on open is when that WebSocket closes, we're going to say, hey, it closed. We're going to try and reconnect. Every 1 second, we're going to try and reload the window when that reconnects. So, yeah, good stuff. So let's look at this Epic Shop thing. Right here, we're going to say handle file change is assigned to revalidator.revalidate. So once the application has picked up and React has hydrated, then we're going to update that WebSocket event listener to simply call revalidate on our revalidator. What that does in Remix is it says, hey, all of the data that's on the page, it's stale. Go get updated data. And so as I'm making changes to the content and any files that I'm changing, I hit save and the app is going to live reload. This isn't as useful to you because you're like working through the workshop. You're not changing the instructions or anything, but it's extremely helpful for me. And so, yeah. Big fan. It's very nice. Okay, cool. And that gets us on the home page. So that's exciting. So let's see. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this MUX stuff, and the MDX, how that's all compiled. So if we take a look at exercises README right here. So this is just an MDX file, and it's got a couple of things. This you'll see some of these callouts. Those aren't special MDX file components. They're not web components, anything like that. They are literally rendered as they are. So it's callout info. That's not like an HTML tag. It's just something I made up, and then I style it. And that's all that it is. So whenever you see those, it's nothing special. It's just something that I style nicely. But this one, this is special, the Epic Video component. And we actually have a number of components that are MDX.md. Here we go. A number of components that can be used in MDX files, depending on which MDX file you're looking at. So we have code blocks that have like some special options that you can provide. So you can give a file name. You can say whether or not you want a little copy thing to show up for them. Let me see if I can give you an example of one of those. Oh yeah, there it was. Yeah, this little copy thing. So we can control that. Whether you want to have numbers on the left side, if you want it to look like a diff of some kind. So here are the lines to remove, here are the ones to add, here are the lines to highlight. Yeah, a bunch of different options. So that is, I use the code blocks like constantly all over the place. Callouts, these are all just styled. You can also add class aside, important, or notification. Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, that was a new feature that I didn't build and I don't actually use, but that was very nice. And then we also have inline file. So this allows you to have that like in the instructions. Click on this and it'll open up this file. So I'll show you how that works here in a bit. A link to app. So for some apps, the iframe preview on the right side, not in this example, but for some of our apps, we have like a URL bar up here. And so you could click on something here and it would update the URL bar here and it would show that page, which is kind of cool. So it's like link in that thing. Code file is a feature I do not really use, but it allows you to say, hey, grab this file, grab the contents in this range and stick it right here as if it was a code block. I don't use it because it's too easy to accidentally change something and not realize it. It has this whole thing that will let you know that something changed, but only if you actually open it up. And so I don't use this feature. Probably will remove it eventually. And then diff link is really cool. So let me see if I can find an example of this. And let's see, performance I think has one. Yeah, here we go. So in the workshops you have this elf emoji. This is our friendly Kelly the coworker, and she will occasionally make changes for you so that you don't have to bother, and also to kind of simulate working with a team. So you've got Kelly the coworker and you've got Peter the product manager that are kind of working with you as you're going through this stuff. And so we have the 01, 05 in performance. So if I go to performance 1.5, then she has this link right here. This is the diff link. So you click on that and it will take you to the diff tab with the specific exercise that you're wanting to see. So she said, since the last exercise, I made some changes. Here's the difference between the last exercise and this one. And so you can see, oh, okay, so she moved the footer or deleted the footer and from here, and now we're rendering that just inline like this. Okay, that's what she did. And so I can look at that, and that's, you know, that's kind of helpful. So that is what the prev diff thing does. So we have a next diff link and a prev diff link. So give me the diff between the current exercise and the previous one, or the current exercise and the next one. They're both based on top of this diff link component. And then we have the video embed, which is the basis for the Epic video. The video embed allows you just to say any URL. So I do have at least 1 or 2 videos where I am embedding a YouTube video. And so I use that for that. And then Epic Video is built on top of that. Okay, so coming back to, yeah, let's see, where's our Epic Video? Let me think. Yeah, let's go to where we compile the MDX. That will be pretty interesting. Some of you are going to be like, what? It's awesome. Well, I think it's awesome. So we'll go to our utils, or actually here, let's follow the code path. So if we're inside of routes, we land on the index page. This will be, yeah, in-app index right here. So we have our loader. We're going to grab the title of the workshop, and here we have our exercises, the workshop README. We want to get the workshop instructions. So I'm going to dive into get workshop instructions. This is inside of our workshop utils app server. We're going to get the README file path for the workshop root exercises README MDX. So that is exercises README MDX. That's that file. And we're going to compile that. So let's go to compile MDX. Here's our file, request and force fresh. And then we return the code, the title, and Epic Video embeds. So first, if the file doesn't exist, then we'll throw a helpful error message. Then we're going to have our cached embedded files. We're going to determine our cache location for what is going to be cached here. We're going to determine whether we need to force a refresh of this because this is heavily cached. We're not actually using Cachefied for this one. I can't remember why. But I think it's just kind of a funny implementation that Cachefied was kind of awkward with. But if we should not force refresh and the cache file exists, then we're going to read the cache file and we'll set our cached embedded files. Then we're going to determine the compile time and warning canceled. I don't think that I added that. Cache value warning canceled. Yeah, I didn't add that feature. So I don't remember what that's all about. I probably reviewed the pull request though. So we're going to take that compile time. If it's greater than the last modified time and it wasn't canceled, we haven't already warned about it being canceled, we're going to validate the embedded files, make sure that yeah, see, this is all that code block or code file thing that it added a bit of complexity for a feature I really just don't use very much. I'm going to remove this. But in any case, if it was compiled after it was modified, then we'll return the cache value. Otherwise, we need to compile it again. So we're going to get the title, video embeds, and the code file data. So yeah, this is part of what I think we're going to return. Cache location, cache embedded files, and embedded files. And then we're going to queue the bundled MDX. So this is all going to happen with MDX Bundler. Bundle MDX coming from MDX Bundler. And the reason that we queue it is because we are calling the get apps, and then that's fanning out to all of the different apps, and each one of them has their own MDX file. You could have hundreds of MDX files that we need to compile all at once. And we're using ESBuild under the hood, which is already trying to optimize using your core or how many of cores you've got. And yeah, it's a lot. So because ESBuild already does that, if we run more than one at a time, then we're going to be in trouble. And so that's why we queue them so that only one happens at a time. So we want to bundle this file. Here's the current working directory of that file. Our MDX options include some remark plugins. So we auto link headings so that you could say, oh, let's go to that heading. Or like sometimes there are multiple headings in here. GitHub formatted Markdown. So we can use some GitHub features, which is kind of nice. I can't think of any situations where I actually do that, but it is nice sometimes. And then we are also going to use this custom Remark plugin, just inline thing, to find the first heading, and that's going to be our title. So that's why we have our title declared up there. So we just extract that from the MDX as we're parsing through the MDX. We also have this other inline plugin for, for finding the epic videos. So that's our epic video embed. So every time we find an epic video component, boom, that's an epic video embed, boom, 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 boom. So now we know which videos are embedded in this MDX file. And then we have this Remark code file, which is, that's again part of that feature that I kind of think I should remove. Yeah, kind of don't want that anymore. Sorry, 1 minute. Thank you so much for building it. I just didn't end up using it very much. Sorry. And then we have this emoji plugin for handling emojis. I think that so I can do like smile or something. I don't think I ever used that. I should probably get rid of that one too. And then we've also got some rehype plugins. So this is to just clean up our code blocks. I think, that's just take each one of these and trim the end off of it. And then Remark code block Shiki, that one's huge. And I'll talk about that here in a second. And remove pre-container divs. I can't remember what this is for. I probably should have added a comment about this. I remember writing it. I just don't remember why I have it. Sometime, I think, so the pre-tags are inside of divs, and I don't want them to be inside of divs. I think that's what it is. Yeah, so I get rid of the div. I move it outside of the div. I can't remember why that was important, but it was super annoying, and that's how I fixed it. So the Remark code block Shiki thing comes from kentcdod/md-temp. This is the least temporary package I've ever published under that temp moniker. But it was forked from Ryan Florence. He has a MD module, and he based his off of G. Goodman Nostalgy? I don't know. But this thing is what enables the code blocks that I showed in here. So it enables all this stuff. The remove and the add and the lines, all of that is enabled by that module, including the syntax highlighting and everything. And it's so sick because it allows me to have this. I also use it for this. This is Markdown that's passed through that. It allows me to have a diff view that also has the syntax highlighting. And it was hard. It was hard to make, but it was so good, so awesome. I'm very, very happy with it. So anyway, that's that. That's what's exciting about that. We're not going to dive any deeper into that. Okay, so this is clearly doing a lot. In addition to like compiling all of that, remember MDX is code, so it's got to like actually evaluate it and everything. Yes, thanks Andreas for appreciating that it's a really nice diff. It is great. And so then we get the code. This is going to be a string of code that you want to evaluate. And the title and the epic video embeds, we're going to write this to our cache. This is part of that feature we're going to remove and then return the result. So it's a lot of stuff. It is going to happen like over 100 times per workshop, most likely. And that's just a lot. And so that's why we have it so heavily cached. And there are like layers of caching on top of this as well. But yeah, we do a pretty good job of invalidating the cache. The one thing that it doesn't do very well is if you're using MDX to like import other packages or other components or something, then this cache is going to bust on that, because all that we really check for is the compile time greater than the modified time. And if you hadn't modified this file, but you modified something it's imported, then you're toast. And so if I wanted to enhance that, I could make that work. But I don't like ever have a custom component that I import, so it's not a big deal. And if I did just once, I wouldn't work on fixing that here. I would just force, I would add force equals or fresh equals true, to the URL, and then it would just force a recompile every time. And it wouldn't be very fast, but it would be fine because I don't do it very much, or ever right now. Okay, so that's how I compile the MDX. Now, there are some of these MDX things. Where is that? Some of these, like inline file and link to app and code file and diff link, some of these are not compiled at that time. They are just going to be inside of the contents of the code that is generated from that. So how do we deal with that? Well, let's go to our mdx.tsx file. So once we get that code, let's see, use MDX component. Yeah, let's find MDX. And this will be, yeah, right here. So in our root route, so in this home page, the home page right here, we're compiling that MDX and everything. We have that code for the workshop README. This is the compiled code, and we want to render that. And here are the components that are available to that at runtime. We also have this Epic Video Info provider. So this is, we'll look at that here in just a second. So the MDX file or component is going to use the MDX component. So that's going to take the code. This is just, remember, a string of code. We're going to return use memo because we don't want to run this every single time. We have this MDX component cache. This is just a cache of strings and the return type of get MDX component, which I think is also string, right? No, it's elements. That's right. This get MDX component is built into, oh yeah, actually it is built into the bundler, but I actually do some extra stuff with it. This is built into MDX bundler. All that it does is actually, it does an eval on that code. It literally runs eval. This is how my blog works. A lot of people actually use MDX bundler, and this is what we're doing, eval. It's a beautiful world. So then we use that to get our component. And then we have our Epic MDX component. This is just a wrapper around the component so that I can use memo on our components. We're going to combine the MDX components that I have here. So this is all my MDX components. That includes Epic Video and Launch Editor, which I know some of you are really interested in, and the video embed in Epic Video. We're going to combine that with any other external components that people want to pass to this. So this get MDX component is what you get from the cache, which we are getting from use MDX component. So now we have our component. We're going to render that component with those external components. So that's also going to include the icon, the pre with buttons, link, and any other external components. I'm actually not sure why these aren't included. Oh, actually, I do know why. Because, wait, really? Those could probably be moved. They could probably be moved. Here, give me 1 second. I need to answer the door. We're going to take a quick break. All right, sorry about that. I just realized I should have played the song again. I mean, the break song is also nice, but yeah, you're right. I should just change the song for the break to be the song, because it's a pretty sweet song. Okay, let's get back to this. That was my wife. She was bringing me lunch because she rocks. And then I realized, oh, I can't eat this while I'm streaming. And I have a hard stop at like, I think it's at 1:45. Let me just double check. Yeah, at 1:45. So we've got 45 minutes. Max, I should probably stop at a half hour actually. My voice is almost gone. We're almost like, we've gotten most of the interesting stuff except no, the process manager and the diff. Oh shoot, we gotta hurry. Okay. So we get our component, we render the our MDX component, we render that with these overridden components, and that's how it gets on to the page. So I still wanted to show how the Epic Video component works, but that's how we're rendering this, the code that was compiled and cached to the page. Now, when React comes across this Epic Video component in our MDX content, it's going to render this deferred Epic Video component here. So that's got the URL and title as props. We default that title if we wanted to. Ryan, if you want to continue to access V1, you'll go to epicreact.dev/learn. That's the URL it was before. It's still there. Great question. So yeah, we're going to get our config. We got our host and display name. I can't remember what those are for, but probably will be useful here in a second. We're going to get the user. They may not be logged in, and that's fine. Get the Epic Video Info's promise from context. So we have this Epic Video Info context. That is interesting. Let's dive into that. Where did that come from? It's a create context. That's the value is going to be the Epic Video Info's a promise of that. So what's a Epic Video Info? It's an object of strings with the resolved value from get Epic Video Info. What is that? That is, this is in the Workshop app Epic API. That is a cachified version of this request that for getting the information for this video. So we take the Epic Video embed URL. If it's not one of these, then it's not an Epic Video thing. Eventually, you may need to change that. Actually, I probably should change that to just be, it's the host that is in the package JSON. Yeah, the tutorials, I think this is now supported. The tutorials works the same way as workshops. But we make a request to /API and the path name, and then with the access token, so we know whether you have access to this. And then that's going to come back with the Epic Video Info. So let's take a look at that. It's simply the transcript and the MUX playback ID. That is our info result. And we're going to return that if it's a success. If it's not, then we're not going to cache it for very long. We're going to see, is this because it's regionally restricted? Is that the error? If that's the error, then we have this special type of error, so we can display a special type of error message. Otherwise, it's some other kind of error, and we just don't know what it is. So we're going to send that API data type mismatch. And then if there was some other error, then we'll just send an unknown error there. So that is what our Epic Video Info data is. Now, where does this come from? Who is providing this value? We've got this Epic Video Info provider. You might remember we actually saw that earlier. It takes that Epic Video Info's promise. But this is running on the client. So wait, how are we getting that promise? Are we making a fetch request and a use effect or something? No, we're not doing that. Let's see if I can find where this was. Yep, here it is. Right here. This is where we're rendering it. Right around our MDX. So we can provide that to the child components. If we dive into where this comes from, this is inside of our loader in our index. We're going to take the, if the workshop README was compiled successfully, then we're going to get the video infos from the compiled Epic Video embeds. So you remember when we compiled the MDX, we're grabbing all those Epic video embeds, and so now this is just an array of strings of all the embedded videos, and then we pass that to get Epic video infos. So we are not awaiting this, so that's why this is a promise, and we're sending this promise to the client. So we say defer. We're gonna so this is a remix feature. In the future, we won't have to do defer because they'll use this turbo stream, and it's really cool. But yeah, we're gonna defer, and this will stream the results. And so that's how we get this promise from the server over to the client, which I think is sick. And so then we take that. Yep, that was probably not super important. Yeah, so now we have all of those promises that will resolve to the information. Our link UI, so this is that link right there. And then we wrap this all in suspense. Here's our fallback, that loading with the title. So if we refresh, you'll see that. Oh, it's too fast. Let's go to foundation or fundamentals, and you'll see it now. Boom, right there. So that's what that loading state is. And that link UI is there too. So if it takes forever for some reason or something, you can just click it and it will take you to the page. And then we use the await component and pass the Epic Video Infos promise. We're using the render prop API for that. We get the Epic Video Info for the URL. So there could be multiple of these. We're going to get the one for the URL that we want to display. We're going to get the transcript UI. So if we're deployed, we're going to say you have to run this locally. Although now that I think about it, I now know whether you're logged in and whether you have access. So I could very easily show the transcripts on the deployed version. I will absolutely do that. That is awesome. If it is not deployed, let's see. Oh, right. This is the default case. So if it's not deployed, we're going to assume you're not logged in, and we'll say you need to upgrade or log in for the transcripts. Then if there's no Epic Video Info, then we're going to show an Epic Video Embed. And so what that's going to do is it will just be an iframe. So using the video embed, just uses an iframe for that URL. And in our case, the Epic Video Embed adds /embed to the end of the path name. So you could go to any one of these and add /embed, and that is what shows up for people who aren't logged in or whatever. And so if I go to this and I'm not logged in, then I'm going to see, actually, no, this one is a free video. The first videos are always free. But yeah, let's go to this lesson. Embed. And then you'll have this little thing that says, oh, if you want access to this, then you have to buy access, because that's how we feed our people who work for us and stuff. It takes a whole team. I just realized how many of these Chrome windows I have open. So yeah, if for some reason there's no Epic Video Info, then we'll just fall back on the embed, and hopefully the embed has something to show the user. Otherwise, if we were successful in getting the video info, then we're going to render Epic Video, which we'll look at here in a second. If the results was region restricted, we'll explain what they need to do to either upgrade or get back to their region. If it's a 401, they don't have access, or something else went weird. So we'll just show the video embed. Maybe they're not logged in locally, but they are logged in on Epic React. And so may as well just show them the video. I guess I could say, you need to log in locally, but it's fine. They can watch the video that way. I probably should just say, you need to log in. But we do have the banner at the top if they're not logged in, so it's fine. Then Epic Video Embed, or if it's a 403, oh yeah, that's not logged in. This is not authorized to view. We do the same thing. We could probably give a better like an error message or something, but I kind of want to fall back on what is displayed by the embed anyway, so that's fine. And then if it's a 404, we just say, oh, can't find this thing, and we'll fall back on what is displayed by Epic React as well. And then in all other cases, it's some unknown error. I don't know what's going on. It will just display that and fall back again. So the most common case, though, is that they are logged in, they do have access, and we're going to render the video. We have the URL, title, the Mux playback ID came from the info, from that request to the API, and here's our transcript. So let's go to the Epic video. We're going to have our Mux player ref, our timestamp regex. So we're going to take that. Oh, I'm going to celebrate really quick with, I'm going to try and say your name, Alamendrix. Purchased. Congratulations. Thank you. Well done. If you are watching and you also purchased, go ahead and throw a purchase celebration. We'll celebrate with you for that too. So yeah, celebration. Woohoo. And we have our transcript elements. This is kind of interesting what I'm doing here. So we're going to take the transcript and we're going to, while our timestamp regex matches, we're going to turn that into React elements so that you can click on that and update the Mux player to those to wherever that timestamp was. And so that is what allows us to do this. I want to click on that. Boom.
We're going to talk about
starts right from there. Okay, cool. And then we have the Mux player. We'll look at that in a second. And then the video link. So this is the Mux player. Then we have the video link and then the transcript. So diving into the Mux player, this is using Mux's player, and it's awesome. The real Mux player. We pass all these preferences and everything. Lots of this stuff came from what was I about to say? From their docs, I guess, is maybe what I was going to say. We're not going to dive too deep into it, but there were a couple of interesting like use effects and stuff that I wanted to show off. There's some kind of weird things we're doing. So we're going to store your playback time in session storage. Yep, that's what I thought. So that way, if you hit refresh or whatever, or you navigate back or whatever, you'll be right back where you were. So that we're using as a use effect for whenever the current time session key changes, which it should only ever change when you change the computer or change the component you're rendering. Hey, congratulations to BSWM on your purchase. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope that you absolutely love it. And now you understand a little bit about how it all works. We also have handling key presses for play and pause and arrow right and arrow left and full screen, stuff like that. So you hit F and you can go left and right, and that skips around. This video is very short. Here, let's do this one.
Right, so we want to make a moment here in the system, and we've got to do that.
And up and down, I think, does not change the volume. For a second there, I thought it would. Yeah, I actually noticed a bit of an annoyance on this recently. I should probably fix this bug, or somebody can if they want to. But if you tab around and you get up to the tabs up here, you can go left and right to switch between these tabs. So you're a keyboard user, but look at what is happening to the video. Not happy with that. Not happy at all. So that's what we need to fix that. Double the Kent, double the fun. Woo! Oh yeah, I'm in the video too. Yeah, so I need to fix that. But yeah, then we also have updating preferences. So anytime, we've got a debounce on this too. But anytime the text tracks changes, so you want to change that, the closed captions, or whenever the rate changes or the volume changes, I want to update your preferences. And this is simply going to do like a straight up post call to the video player action, which will then save your preferences in on your device, so that even you close the Workshop app, open it up again, and you get your preferences still, which is nice. And then what does this do? As the video gets, Mux fires a bunch of change events, which we don't want. So I wait until the metadata is loaded. Yeah, okay. And when it is loaded, oh yeah, then we handle updating preferences for whenever the subtitles change. And we just, know which subtitle track you want. So yeah, that is the video player. Mux is amazing, by the way. It's so cool. And so if I ever do add an offline capability I'll have to flip on a switch in Mux, and then I'll have like something in here that downloads the video to your device or to the browser or something like that. And then this file will have to change a lot to detect, are you offline? Oh, you are. Let's see if you have the offline video. Oh, you don't. You know, like I'll have to do a lot there. It's not crazy. It's definitely something I could do. I think I want to. So yeah, there you go. That's the video portion of this. Let's look at other MDX components. Oh, right. This is interesting. So I make H1 be null on the home page because I'm going to display the title of the workshop right up here, and it would be funny to put it right there again. So we just don't. Somebody's asking, is this course in TypeScript? Yes, it is. With the exception of two things. The first workshop has these first 4 exercises that are all in HTML files. And that is very intentional. I want you to feel like or have a good idea of the lines between what is TypeScript and what is React and what is JavaScript and what is DOM and stuff. So we start in an HTML file for the first 4 exercises, and then we get into TypeScript. And then it's, from here on through the rest of it, except for the server components workshop, which is completely tool free, no tools at all, including no TypeScript. And so let's see. Yeah, without any build tools, no TypeScript, no JSX, no Vite, which is fine. It doesn't really, it shouldn't impact you at all. As a product developer using React, you'll still get what you need out of the other ones. And it is a good thing that it's not TypeScript for that one, because it's really simple to think about things without all the tools. What's the best way to bootstrap the app, Remix or React Router? That's for a dynamic app. I would say Remix. And if you want to learn all about that, that's what Epic Web is for, epicweb.dev. Check that out. It's great. Okay, cool. So let's go back to our MDX thing, because I know lots of you are really trying to, hoping to be able to get into, where's our components? Here we go. Where are my components? MDX component. There we go. You want the launch editor button. So I actually use this in a couple of places. And here it is. It is a full stack component that, here, actually, let me find where it is first, and then so we can use it. Let me launch editor. Or wait, inline file. Here we go. In exercise 1. Yeah, we do this in the first exercise. Yeah. And yeah, so this one is the inline file. It's built on top of the launch editor. So let's look at the inline file first, and then we'll look at the launch editor. Going to routes in app, exercise, and we're looking at the index here. MDX, yeah, where is it? MDX, where are you? That's our index. Here's our exercise number. Here we go. Okay, so we got our instructions code. This is the MDX file. We've got our Epic video info provider. And if I dive into, we've got this element scroll restoration, progress toggle. There's so many cool things. I don't have time to show you all this stuff. Edit file on GitHub, also very cool. But yeah, so we're going to go to our, MDX components. Where are you? No, hold on. Oh, no, this is not right. We want step number index. There we go. Is that right? No. Step number. Oh, we need the type. Yeah, isn't that? Oh, it's the layout. I bet it's the layout. Sorry, I reorganized this pretty recently. And it is better, I promise. Okay, here we go. Step MDX. And we have the in-browser browser ref. Oh, man, that thing's insane. Okay, so step MDX right here. Here we go. We've got MDX components. They're available for steps. So all of these components are not available for this page because we're not in a particular project or exercise step. And so that's why these ones have a couple special components. And the one we're interested in is this inline file. What this does is it grabs the loader data so we know which app we're in. If we are deployed and we have an app, then launch editor. Hold on a second. Those are literally the same thing. If we're deployed and we have an app, or if we have an app, so that should work like this, right? Actually, no, we should be able to just do whether or not we're deployed. Yeah. As long as we have an app, we do this. So I'm not going to change anything right now, but I'm pretty sure those are exactly the same. Yeah, so we're going to render the launch editor. If we're rendering something from the playground, then it's, oh, right, yeah. So you tried to click on it before the playground exists. And so we're going to show you that. But that's not the common case. The common case is here, launch editor. The file comes from the file that we're given, which will be a string, so like the relative path to the file. And the app name, this is going to come from the app that is currently selected. So the app that, it'll actually be the playground app. And then, yeah, whatever other props are passed. And in our, we don't typically pass too many props other than like what the children is. Actually, we do pass the children sometimes. Yep. Okay, cool. So diving into the launch editor, if we are deployed, then this is going to launch it in GitHub. So if we're in a deployed environment, we're going to open up this file on GitHub. And so we're just constructing that URL here. It's pretty cool. If we're not, then we have the actual implementation. And so this component is a full stack component. So it has a our action right here. So we'll look at that here in a second. We've got our use launch fetcher. So the launch fetcher comes from, is a use fetcher. Why do I have this? Fetcher, I don't remember why I have this. Oh, it's because I want to on update. Oh, that's right. It's because I want to be able to call a function on update. Yeah, because sometimes launch editor, we want to pass an update. I can't remember on update. What is that? Handle launch update. Oh, this is inside of touched files. Handle launch update. Yeah, what are you doing? So, oh, it's so that we can close. Yeah, so when you click on this, you click on this one. I want to close that that thing. Yep, that's what's going on. Okay, cool. Getting back to things. So that's why we have this use launch fetcher, but it's just a fetcher. And then we also have a progressive enhancement thing. Probably isn't all that important, so because this is a pretty JavaScript heavy thing, but you should actually be able to launch in your editor without JavaScript on the client, so that's cool. Now we're going to determine which files you want to have launched, because you can open multiple. We're going to detect what kind of file it is, if it's just a file or a file in a particular app. So like this would be the full URL to the file. And then we want to sync to type. I cannot remember what that sync to type is all about. I forget. So maybe we'll figure it out. But when the fetcher is fetched, then the launch editor API will be called. That's where we are right now. So that we'll get a post to that. So our action will get called. And yeah, we're just sending a whole bunch of information with that whenever this form is submitted. So when that button is clicked right here, this is submitting a form. And that backend code is what opens up your editor. So coming to our action now. By the way, I started working on this before I started using Conform. If I'd started it over again, I would be using Conform for this stuff. But yeah, we're not doing that at this point. So first, I don't want anybody trying to open apps on undeployed or on the deployed version of the app or open files on the deployed version of the app. That would just be weird. So we're going to ensure undeployed. And if it is deployed, then it just throws an error. And then we're going to get the form data. Here's our sync to stuff, which I totally forgot what the sync to is for. Oh, I know what it, yeah, I think I know what it is. So this is not something you would typically see, but if I hold down the option key, I can actually say, hey, take whatever is in app 2 and copy it over what's in app 1. I use this a lot when I'm developing the workshops. And so you click on this, it will do that, and it will also open up the file. So yeah, check this out. Blink. That's a quick way to finish the exercise. Haha. Joel, I actually am surprised you're still here. This has been forever. Oh man, I do not have a lot of time left. Oh shoot, I need to hurry, get to the diff. The diff is insane. I gotta show you the diff. Okay, so yeah, that's what the sync to is all about. Then we get our raw data. We're gonna take all of the information of what has been submitted yeah, parse that because we're not using Conform. We should be using Conform. It'd be great if we were. And then, yeah, we basically resolve that down to file paths and line and columns. And then we take that, yeah, here's the sync to stuff. So we're gonna, I think we copy the file over. So that was what I showed you here a second ago. And yeah, and then we go through all the files to open and we await launch editor. So this launch editor function is what a lot of you are waiting to see. What is that? I'm gonna really disappoint you here in a second. You're gonna be like, what? What? And then when that's successful, then we return and we can show toast headers if there was an error or something like that. So what is this launch editor? How do I open your editor for a particular file? Well, I stole this from Create React App. This is copied, maybe barely isn't fair anymore because I've changed it quite a bit. But yeah, like I literally just stole this file from Create React App. They've been doing this for like ever. So it's actually not that impressive. A lot of people are like, what? But no, like we've been doing this for a long time. And you've probably experienced it before. Yeah, the way that it works is you've got a couple of utilities here. Here's common editors on OS X or Mac OS. Common editors in Linux. It's just mapping their path to their, I think this is the name. Let's see, map full process name to binary that starts the process. That'll be important in a second. These are binaries for those. And then here's the Windows versions of those editors. I found out recently that NeoVim is not in here. So if you want to add a contribution to add NeoVim, you just need to know which, like what these should be for NeoVim. And then Windows has this exploit sort of thing where you can like execute random things. And because this is an HTTP call, I just want to, I keep this Windows file name whitelist thing. It's kind of dumb. It just means that if you add some weird characters in the file path of your workshop app, then you're going to not be able to use this feature. I think I have a good error message for that. Yeah, okay, anyway, then we get arguments for line number. Yeah, I don't know how much deeper I'm going to go into this. We did, where is this? Launch editor. Launch editor right here. Here we go. So we're going to take the path list, the line number and column number, and then we're going to guess your editor. The way we guess your editor is first we're going to check, did you set an Epic Shop editor environment variable? If you did, then that's your editor, and we're going to just parse that. If you didn't, Then if you're on Darwin, we're going to use the currently running processes, and we're just going to go through all the available editors, and the first one that shows up is going to be your editor. If you're on Windows, we'll do the same sort of thing. The first one that shows up is your editor. If you're on Linux, same sort of thing. And then if we can't find it, then we'll just use old school environment variables, visual, and editor. And if those don't exist, then I cannot detect your editor, and we'll give you an error. So once I guess your editor, if there's no editor, I'm just going to say, sorry, I couldn't find it. If the editor is none, then you don't have an editor set. And then we're going to arrayify the path list. And then we'll just go through. Yeah, we fix up some file path stuff. Get the error message. Da, 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 da. We are going to concatenate the arguments for the line number and different things like that. And yeah, and then we spawn. You just kick it off. Open up the editor. We send the command to open the editor, because like all these editors have CLIs that you can execute and say, open this file. So that's it. Okay, now with the last -2 minutes that I have, because I do need to take a break and eat this wonderful sandwich my wife brought me, I want to show you, oh man, I want to show you so much. The process manager and the diff tab. So let's look at, nope, this. Let's look at the diff tab first. So coming over here to, where is it? Where's the diff tab? Diff, routes. Here we go. Oh, that's something else. Layout, diff. Nope. Where did I, no, it's not an app. It's not, I don't think it's an index. Is it? Oh, it is. Okay. All right. So let's start with the data side, because that's the most interesting thing. Like actually here, let's not start with the data side because this will be pretty quick. The diff code right down here in the loader, we're rendering this. Where's the diff? Diff. There we go. Okay. So for this tab, we're going to render the diff component. We're going to pass it the data diff and all of the apps. The reason we pass it all the apps is because you can diff between any app and between those two. So we need to pass all of them. Whoops. And then we'll let's see, we'll accept the diff. This is a promise. So again, this is deferred because calculating the diff is very slow if you're calculating it for the first time. For example, let's go. Well, actually, Epic React is not too bad because there's like a handful of files, so it's pretty quick. But like do this on the full stack volume 1 workshops and it takes forever because there are like tons of files. You'll see here in a second. So we're going to determine if the user has access. And somebody just asked if this course covers Next. It does not. Well, yes, it does because it's all React, but it's framework agnostic. Okay, so then we have a couple of things up here. Let me just kind of skip around to, yeah, if the user doesn't have the access to this workshop, then we show them a video explaining what the diff tab is all about and saying you should get access because it's great. Then we render suspense. This is just a little spinner saying, hey, we're loading that. And then when it resolves, we have our diff. This diff is, well, here, I think actually, yeah, it's got the app 1 and app 2. We render those selects so that you can choose between the different apps. That's why we're sending all the apps there. And then if there is code, then we're going to render our MDX components again, because the code is actually just MDX stuff. And we render it inside of an accordion provider because these accordions should all be associated. Yeah, this would look a lot cooler if there was more than one file. I've got, let's see, React or component server components. There we go. Let's go to 2 or 5.2 diff. Oh man. There we go. We got 2. So that's why we need the accordion root on the outside because we render multiple of those. So yeah, that's actually it. It's just MDX. So now the backend side of this is what makes this more interesting. So this diff, get diff prop, If there's not one or two apps, then we're going to say, hey, we can't do a diff between both of them. Or if you don't have that. If the user doesn't have access, we're going to let them know. And they should never actually see this because we render something else in the diff thing. And then, but I don't want to bother calculating the diff if you don't have access anyway. Like, why waste your resources? So that's why we do this exit early right here. And then we are going to do the get diff code. So this is inside of our utils diff.server. We're going to take app1 and app2. This is that data model we saw way earlier. And we're going to determine a key because we're going to cache this thing like crazy. But the trick is that if somebody changes the code within those relative paths, then that's not encoded in this key, right? So that's not good. So this key doesn't totally represent the value that it's supposed to represent. Which is why we have this diff code cache entry that we're going to use so that we can determine whether we should force a refresh. So if we get force refresh or fresh for diff, then we're going to say, hey, if there was no cache entry, then yeah, we probably need to force a refresh. Otherwise, we're going to do the modified times. Now, if you remember, like an hour and a half ago, I showed you this modified times thing in our app server. This is just a global thing, so it survives across restarts of the server, whatever. And it's just a map of string to number. It's a path to when it was modified. The modified times are updated. Nope, not that. They are updated in our handle file changes. So when we've got this watcher that's just saying, oh, okay, I'm watching all the files. Oh, this file was changed. Let me find the app that this file belongs in, and I'm going to update that app's modified time. The reason I do this is because calculating the modified time for a directory takes forever. It just takes forever, depending on how many files you have, of course. But yeah, you have to like go down deep in the file structure and all that. It's not fun. So now I know when these two were modified, or they were modified 0. And then we're going to get the created time of the cache. And if that was never created, or the app modified is greater, either one of them was greater than when the cache was modified, then we know, oh, the cache is out of date. One of those modules or those apps has been modified. We need to update the cache. And so that's how we get the force refresh. So that is pretty cool, I think. But the code, diff code impl is also super cool. So here, again, this is just Markdown that we're generating here. So we're going to start with, you're comparing the same app. If those two are the same, we just return. And we're going to compile that as Markdown. And then we are going to prepare these two apps for the diff. So we're going to create an ID, just random ID. We could probably do better than this, but that's what we're doing. We're going to copy these files. So the problem is that I can't just say, hey, Git, I want you to compare these two directories, because there's a ton of files in those two directories that I don't want to have applied. Like if they have a node modules in there, like, no, even with the git ignore, if you do git no index diff, which is what you need to do or git diff no index, which is what we have to do here, then you can't apply git ignore, which stinks. And so we have to copy all of the files to a temporary location. So we have a diff tempter that we copy these files into. And then I also don't want to show the package.json, because the package.json has a name prop that is going to be different for all of these, because we're in a mono repo and you have to have the names be different. And so if that's the only thing that's different, then I don't want to show that. And so that's why we're comparing that. So if they are the same, or if they are different in any other way other than the name, then yes, I want that in the diff, because maybe we changed the script. Otherwise, I'm not going to have that in the diff. And then we get the diff ignore. So we have a special file that each workshop can list to say, hey, I want you to ignore tsconfig and test, because it doesn't matter in this workshop. And then we're going to copy all the unignored files. So we've got some default ignore patterns. We've got some package.json ignore if we want to ignore that. We have our workshop ignore from the diff ignore, and then our also the git diff as well. And so then, yeah, so that will give us our ignore for that. And yeah, we're going to copy the unignored files for both of these using, what is this thing called? Ignore. Yeah, it's called ignore from Sindre. And so we copy all of those files that are not ignored. And we actually cache this operation as well because it can take forever. So many layers of caching, it's wild. And then both of these apps have been prepared for a diff. And then we take the diff. So get diff, no index, copy app1 copy path, app2 copy path. We don't want to colorize it because we're going to colorize it ourselves. We want to color move WS, allow indentation change. I forget what that's for. No prefix, ignore blank lines. And this is our current working directory. And then we're going to delete those, and then we're going to parse the git diff. This is a module called parse git diff, and it's great. Super happy with them, with that module. So cool. And then we use that to generate some more lines for our markdown. So we go through all of the differences. If it's a changed file, then we're going to have an accordion for the changed stuff. Get file code blocks. That's going to, yeah, read the file, or yeah, it does all kinds of stuff. Folks, this is so cool. You really need to dive in deeper in all this stuff. We also have like this little button for open in those apps. So it's another launch editor thing. That's why we have the, where'd it go? Launch editor thing for these. Yep, we've got our launch editor thing. So much stuff. It is so sick. It is so sick. It is so sick. Man, it is so great. So that's how the diff works. We just generate a bunch of MDX. It is so cool. And it's cached like nobody's business so that it's not dog slow. It can be kind of slow when you're generating a new one, but yeah, it is so cool. Okay, I have like 2 minutes until my next thing, and I wanted to show you the process manager. And I think I can do it really quick. So, no, I probably can't, but I'm going to try anyway. No, I can't do this because I was not nice to these, or I wasn't mean, but I was late to the last thing that they asked me to do. So we're not going to do that. You should come. It'll be on X. It'll be on Spaces. It'll be fun. So yeah, here we have our start. So when you click on that start app button, this runs. We have this run app dev that like goes and runs npm run dev in that app directory. And then we just have a process manager so that when they hit stop app, we can close that process. And oh gosh, I didn't show you the authentication stuff either. And the test stuff is actually more interesting. Test TSX. Yeah, so this stuff is crazy cool because we're doing a server sent events. Event. Yeah, we've got our event source on test. We've got our loader right here that is handling that event stream, and it's sending, as the test is running, we're piping all of the standard out over here so that we can send that as data, and then that shows up on the UI. We're using a special package to take ANSI codes and convert it to HTML so that it can be colorized. Man, it's so cool. It's so cool. Handle ST out, send event. Oh man, it's so rad. And then our account, or I think it's, yeah, we've got a login. We're also doing a login SSE right here. We're sending an event stream. So like through the whole login process, we say, okay, go over there. And we're just waiting to hear back from it when the auth is resolved. And we can we know that we have your auth code in the device storage. So anyway, dude, folks, this was so sick. This is awesome. I have to go. But thank you so much for coming. I'll let you listen to the launch song one more time, and then we're going to go. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the internet. Hit up team at epicreact.dev if you have any other questions or anything. Again, be really nice to the support team because they are going to be very busy today answering questions from folks like you. So thank you for everything. This has been awesome. And I look forward to hearing about the cool things that you're building and doing with React in the future. So reach out and let's hear about what you think about Epic React. So, all right. Now we're going to do the song. See you, everyone.
The time is now, we've waited so long. Epic React V2 is where we belong. We're geared up and ready, our journey begins. A world of React where we'll get the wins. We'll dive into hooks, transition so smooth. With patterns and composition, we'll find our groove. TypeScript in every file, precise and strong. Epic React will guide us all along. We're on the edge now, Epic React V2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. We'll ship it fast now, we'll ship it clean. Epic React's the tool for the dream team. Whoa, no bugs to fight. Whoa, we'll code it right. Playground's ready, code on the fly. Launch in your editor, reach for the sky. Learn to debug, find every clue. Optimize performance, we'll push it through. Embedded videos, everything in sync. No more context switching, just code, watch and think. Test tabs waiting, no need to guess. See what passes, fix all the rest. Diff tab shows what changed and why. Epic React will take us high. We're on the edge now, Epic React V2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. We'll ship it fast now, we'll ship it clean. Epic React's the tool for the dream team. Whoa, no bugs to fight. Whoa, we'll code it right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're set for blast off, the time has come. With hands on the keys, retention you'll find. Epic React V2, it's learning refined. Whoa! We're on the edge now, Epic React V2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. Hooks and patterns, we'll master them all. With TypeScript strength, we'll answer the call. Whoa, the countdown is done. Whoa, blast off, now we're on. We'll code it right. The time is now, we've waited so long. Epic React V2 is where we belong. We're geared up and ready, our journey begins. A world of React where we'll get the wins. We'll dive into hooks, transition so smooth. With patterns and composition, we'll find our groove. TypeScript in every file, precise and strong. Epic React will guide us all along. We're on the edge now, Epic React V2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. We'll ship it fast now, we'll ship it clean. Epic React's the tool for the dream team. Whoa, no bugs to fight. Whoa, we'll code it right. Playground's ready, code on the fly. Launch in your editor, reach for the sky. Learn to debug, find every clue. Optimize performance, we'll push it through. Embedded videos, everything in sync. No more context switching, just code, watch and think. Test tabs waiting, no need to guess. See what passes, fix all the rest. Diff tab shows what changed and why. Epic React will take us high. We're on the edge now, Epic React V2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. We'll ship it fast now, we'll ship it clean. Epic React's the tool for the dream team. Whoa, no bugs to with hands on the keys, retention you'll find. Epic React V2, it's learning refined. Whoa. We're on the edge now, Epic React V2. Coding like pros, no crashes, it's true. Hooks and patterns, we'll master them all. With TypeScript strength, we'll answer the call. Whoa, the countdown is done. Whoa, blast off, now we're on. We'll code it right. The time is now, we've waited so long. Epic React V2 is where we belong. We'll get up and ready, our journey begins. A world of React where we'll get the wins. We'll dive into hooks, transitions so smooth with patterns and compositions.